Welcome to the Maxxis Cannonball GNCC, the third round of the 2017 AMSOIL GNCC Racing Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. We're out here in Sparta, Georgia to see if the best off-road ATV racers can stop Walker Fowler from earning his third consecutive win. Now let's take it down to the starting line with Rodney Tomlin.
Alrighty, thanks a lot, Mikey. And now it's time to introduce to you our starting lineup for this Maxxis Cannonball GNCC. Rolling to the line first after 2 wins to open up the 2017 season. He is a two-time defending champion from Rogers, Ohio on a WFR Yamaha, backed by Maxxis, Fly, FMF, LSR, and MXP. On board the number 1, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line second today in points. Aboard the number 5, a former Pro-Am champion here, if you will, from Bidwell, Ohio. On a coastal racing Yamaha, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 4, third in points after 2 rounds of racing. Out of Casca, Pennsylvania on a JMR ATVRiders.com backed Honda. We call him the Sneaky Snake. He's the Cobra, Darren McClure. Rolling to the line today, 4th in points, aboard the 521 from West Union, West Virginia. Backed by CST Tires, Induction Solutions, LSR, Hyper, and Spider Graphics. On board the Honda, the Mafia's own Adam McGill. Rolling to the line next, aboard the number 3 from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, a 6-time GNCC champion. He holds the all-time wins record at 73 in search of win 74 on the Chris Borich Racing Suzuki. Chris Borich! Rolling to the line next today, he is 6th in points after 2 rounds. Aboard the number 7 from Glenville, Pennsylvania, on a GBC Motorsports Canyon Axis Shockback Honda LW7, Landon Wolf. He is 7th after 2 rounds of racing. He rides aboard the number 8. His first year as an XC1 Pro Class rider from Richford, New York, on a Dillinger's Pub GBC Motorsport Moose Racing backed Honda, the number 8, Marty Christopherson. Rolling to the line next, he is 8th in points after 2 rounds of racing. He rides aboard the 341 from Medina, Ohio, on a Wolf Racing Honda, Brian Wolf. Rolling to the line next, coming off his best finish ever in an XC1 GNCC racing affair, the 816 from Grain Valley, Missouri, on a Shockworth Motorsports Spider Graphic GBC Tires backed Honda, Tucker Wyatt. right, to the line next, another one of our many rookies here in 2017. A former overall morning class champion from Carroll, Ohio on a Pierce Performance Maxxis Moose Racing Yamaha, the 201, Cody Collier. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 10 from Akron, Ohio on a B&R Maxxis Moose Racing backed Yamaha, Josh Merritt. Next up, aboard the number 13, celebrating his 23rd year as an XC1 Pro from Aurora, Ohio, on a GBC Fly Racing HMF factory-backed Yamaha, Johnny Gallagher. To the line next, aboard the number 14, another one of our rookies, hailing from Denville, New Jersey on a JMR ATVRiders.com backed Honda, Randy Hamilton. Since the last time we saw this young man aboard the 741, he had made his AMA Pro ATV motocross racing debut at Daytona ATV Supercross, where he finished 8th place in his first time out. Today he rolls to the line here, courtesy of Ye Old Cycle Barn, Walsh and Hetrick Racing, on board the Suzuki from Myersville, Maryland, the double rookie, the 741, Wesley Wolf. And last, and certainly not least, he rides aboard the number 19 from Hopedale, Ohio on a B&R GBC-backed Yamaha, Kevin Yoho. And that, my friends, your starting lineup for this, the Maxxis Cannonball GNCC, as they fire him up and warm him up one last time under the direction of Ricky Towery, as he lets these riders know that we are getting ready to start our sequence to begin the race here today. And of course, from this point on, all eyes are bearing down on that first turn, where our maestro Ricky Towery will conduct the rest of today's ceremonies. And of course, right now we lay in wait in anticipation of about what is to take place here in the soils of Georgia. It is round 3 of this Grand National Cross Country Championship. Under normal circumstances in years past, when we've graced the soils of Georgia, it has been for round 2, and only days after the Florida round of racing. It's a whole different opening and a whole different start to 2017. Is it going to mix things up out there on the track as well? We've got about 2 hours to get that sorted out and figure it out for ourselves here, my friends, as Ricky Towery walks out, lets these riders know they've got 1 minute before the start of this Maxxis Cannonball GNCC. The next time we see Ricky step out, he will be waving the blue flag, which will be a dead engine call and a signal for 30 seconds to go here in this race before the race gets underway here today in Georgia. And now, again, the hearts begin to pound, as we say, and the adrenaline begins to flow as Ricky Towery signals to these riders, shut them down, shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. We are now less than 30 seconds away from going racing here in Georgia. And as we shut these riders down, I got to ask you, Georgia race fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Hey, that's not bad. I understand we're a small crowd, but I also know we got big hearts and we love GNCC. So I'm going to ask you one more time, Georgia, are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds, and row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at our Maxxis Cannonball GNCC. Rolling around for a $250 whole shot award. Who's it going to be? It's going to be the CST Tires backed Adam McGill from the McGill Mafia, grabbing gears and saying see ya. As we move into the XC2 Pro-Am class next, we got Greg Covert, Devin Feehan, Hunter Hart, Kenny Schick, Levi Cohen, Kenneth Kelly, Bryson Hops, Matthew Lindell, Cameron Bruce, Brandon Eichert, Taylor Arnold, Brian Foltz, Wyatt Wilkin, Cody Fox, Austin Abney, and Sam Ho, all ready to roll in 10 seconds. As that green flag waves, the machines roll off that starting line into that first turn. Around the first turn, the mad dash to turn 2. It's the 427 grabbing the whole shot award. Cameron Bruce out of Darlington, Pennsylvania on a B&R Motorsports GBC HMF back machine. Down to the Junior A 22+ class now. Steve Covert, Nick Mastrangelo, James Mauger, Andrew Connors, Doug Morris, Ryan Thompson, also Eric Snyder, Chris Boland, Jade Millwood, Dylan Como, Luke Carpenter, Tyler Sizemore, Luke Shepard, Zachary Dean, Zach Wright, Jay Turner, and Brody Livingood in 10 seconds. Junior A off and rolling, 22+. And at the mark here, it's the 724 of Ohio's Luke Shepard. Shepard grabbing the early lead in the Junior A 22+ class. We'll see if he can hang on to that. Meanwhile, we check in with our next class, the Vet A 28+ class. Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens, Wes Stone, Chandler Cathy, Nicholas Carnelli, Travis Austin, Kevin Patterson. 10 seconds. Walter Schumacher, Jared Little, Dustin Hendershot, Adam Reed, Joseph Bosak. And around they go, the first turn, getting her all sorted out. It's the 36 machine, a Big Papa P in the 161. It's going to be Jeff Pickens, followed closely by Wes Stone there. As we go to the College A 16 to 21-year-old, Scott Pearson, Caleb Hagan, Tyler Swindle, Joey Lambright, Drew Landers, Davis Brinson, Matthew Bernard, Nick Royalty, Joseph Yerrickson, Michael Schaefer, Dustin Atkinson, Brandon Thompson, Andrew Bankowski. Also looking at Jacob Scott, Seth Wilson, McCain Jennings. 10 seconds. John Glotta, Eli Kiger, Eric Straub, Tanner Walker, Bodie Lamoureux, and Andrew Herring. Rounding the first turn, these College A riders, it's going to be number 926. That's Tanner Walker out of Berlin, Pennsylvania. He's brought to you by Freedom Power Sports, B&R Motorsports, and FTR Power Sport. And unfortunately, the whole shot guy turns it over in turn 2 as we go to Senior A-B 38+ class. Andy Cooper, Michael Hayes, Eddie Seegers, Ryan Reed, Glenn Ledford, Chris Berry, and Tracy Cantrell all ready to roll on Ricky Towery's cue as he lets them know 10 seconds. Off and rolling they go, man. We got one that's got a rocket on it, looks like, as he rockets off the line. That is the 414 machine of Ryan Reed out of Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, on that DeRisi Racing rocket with Klotz Fuel DWT tires. Junior B 22+ class coming up next. David Kite, Chris Ballou, Charlie Rogers, William Wallace, Neil Tolston, Travis Bell, Eric Holyfield, Cody Posavec, Travis Mathias. 10 seconds. Reese Parvin, Byron Tuttle, Tyler Foster, and Ethan Fetro. Junior B 22+ class. Off and rolling. Hard right-hand turn there at the first turn region, and that is the 235, I believe, of William Wallace on the B&R Motorsports Scott Goggles GBC Tires back machine. And your Vet B 30+ class, Alan Tuttle, Justin Kerr, Howard Harton, Jack Reed Phillips, John Salsa, Brian Vasco, Brandon Tapp, David Napo, David Rudder, and Derek Grist, all ready to roll in 10 seconds. Oh, the wait can be so long sometimes, it seems, but they're finally off and rolling now as they round that first turn. A mad dash to the second turn. The early lead is going to belong to I believe that's Brian Vasco out of 84, Pennsylvania on the Waynesburg Yamaha back machine. College B 16 to 21. Donald Boylan, Cage Chrisman, also looking at Dason Camo, Michael Anderson, Maxim Bernard, Pierre Lessard, Kelton Harbin, Cade Vanderpool, Logan Weiser, Dylan McClellan, Chase Vitro, Clifford Gooseman, also Hunter Harris, Hudson Parker, Emily Wise. 10 seconds. Doug Higgins, Tyler Richard, Chandler Berner, Brian Smith, Cole Jackwich, Corey Vandeliner, and Cameron Abey. College B off and rolling. Around that first turn, they get it all sorted out. Who's going to snag the early lead? 4:24 maybe. I think that might have been Doug Higgins out of New Milford, Pennsylvania. And we've got dinosaurs being found out here on the starting line, it looks like. Huh? Marty. So glad to have him here. Glad to have you all here. Glad to have you tuned in across the World Wide Web as well at RacerTV.com. We'll be back with more GNCC Live right after this.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Is it time to get your daily driving through the same way? AMSOIL's Signature Series synthetic motor delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Here he is, Walker Fowler, Brand National Cross Country XC1 Pro Class Champion.
At Rocky Mountain ATVMC, we want to help increase rider participation at your next race, rally, or club event with our free Race Gas program. Join Race Gas, and every rider that signs up for your event or club gets a free $10 gift card to Rocky Mountain ATVMC. It's that simple. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Of our AMSOIL GNCC Racing Series presented by Maxxis. Give you a quick update here. It's Adam McGill out in front of Walker Fowler. So early on, we'll get some footage of that when we can for you. But it is Adam McGill out in front of Walker Fowler. So that's how things are starting off for us here at the Maxxis Cannonball here in Sparta, Georgia. Just to kind of take a look here at the preview, if you will, the top 20 in the overall. We'll give you, you know what, let's give you a quick rundown of them all till we get some footage here. Walker Fowler, again, back-to-back wins coming into round number 3 here. You know he's poised and focused. And we are going to talk back to a replay now at the 3-mile mark. So in the Badlands area, I understand. All right, so we see our rider first out here in front, Adam McGill making his way through the Badlands here in Sparta, Georgia. And this is at the 3-mile marker of the race, and right behind him is Chris Borich. So Chris Borich in second now. And as we continue to see Adam McGill working his way through there. And again, this is a replay at through the Badlands of the Landon Wolf in third. Walker is back in 5th place. So there was your RacerTV.com rapid replay. So, man, things are mixed up a little bit here in the beginning. Walker Fowler may not run away with this one. Again, that was your replay from mile marker 3 there. And we'll keep you updated on that one. But, yeah, interesting to see Walker Fowler back in 5th place right now. Adam McGill, our front runner, and Chris Borich is running in 2nd. And I got to wonder, when Rodney was talking to Chris Borich earlier, he said something about how many wins you got, 74? And he said now 73. So maybe it was a preview of what we'll see today. Maybe we'll see Adam McGill up there. We had an opportunity to talk to him earlier today, and he seemed pretty focused. Kudos to him. Can't say enough good things about what he does for the fans for the youth ATV race. He was down here at the finish line cheering those riders on as they came through for their last lap. And then he hung around for the podium ceremonies as well. And he got some shout-outs from some riders. And, just always good to see one of the pro guys up there taking some time out. We know they're busy, but he took some time out to cheer those riders on. So good stuff there. And, again, Adam McGill out in front right now. Chris Borich running 2nd. And we had Walker Fowler all the way back in 5th place. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. Walker Fowler, of course, with the back-to-back wins there at Big Buck in South Carolina, as well as last round number 2, the Big Bore in Florida. 2nd in the points standings this season, Bryson Neal on that number 5 Yamaha. He had a 3rd-place finish and then a 2nd-place finish in round number 2. And then 3rd in points with 43 is Sneaky Snake Jared McClure. Sneaky Snake there in the 3rd-place spot. And Adam McGill, to this point, is just getting better and better. He had a number 5 finish in round number 1. Round number 2 down in Florida, he was able to make it up on the podium. As we get a look at the pit crews there, everybody at this point, pretty chill, taking it easy, still early. We had a good shot of Walker's pit crew there. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. Kind of, just rough start to this one. If you got a good look, if you've seen the track out here, for those of you that can't, the roots play a big part in this one. Those things will sneak up on you. Maybe not, affected as much with our ATVs as much as tomorrow necessarily with the bikes, but could certainly play a factor just like we had down in Florida. But, man, you talk about the weather here. It's a slight overcast, but there's no rain. It's not too hot. It's not too cool. It is just about prime and perfect. So this should be a pretty darn good track for these guys. Going back to our overall results here, again, Adam McGill, he's in that 4th-place spot. He's just, been consistent. That 5th-place finish in round 1, the 3rd-place finish in round 2. And, from talking to him, he told us he's looking to, he sees himself on the center of that box, and we like to hear that. So we'll see if he can maintain this lead. Of course, a lot to consider there for today's race. Now, I think we're going to take it back and take a look at, speaking of Palatka, Florida, we're going to take a look at some highlights from Big Bore. Walk you through those. So this was a couple weekends ago down there in the swamps, if you will, getting some shots of our riders as they are going up to the line and from the get-go. There he is, Walker Fowler coming around. You see the number 1 plate out there in front early, and, man, he just didn't really look back. And this is, speaking to this race, the first race this season, he's not gotten the hole shot, so he was 2 for 2. Now coming into this one, now we're going through the mud holes there, and you still see Walker Fowler out in front. And if I remember right, I think he chose a different one here. It's another shot, Walker Fowler. You see that black sand. I think we were all cleaning that stuff out of our clothes up until yesterday, probably. And then the FMF PowerPoint there, moving through there around the Maxxis banners. There's the number 3 of Chris Borich. So we had some big-time battles there as we see Walker Fowler coming through and more shots of the mud holes. Man, from 2nd place, I believe, on down to 5th, we had battles going on all day long. Tire to tire. Walker Fowler ultimately, at the end of the day, took another win. Took another W out there in Palatka, Florida, as we see those FMF banners didn't fare as well as some of our riders. We see them getting stuck out there, dealing with the sand, just an added element for us. And there he is, Walker Fowler taking that checkered flag. That was round number 2 in Palatka, Florida. So we'll have to see if he can repeat the same performance this weekend. Adam McGill got third. Was it Bryson Neal was second place? So there were your highlights from round number 2 there in Palatka, Florida, the Wild Boar. And this weekend we turn our attention to round number 3. Maybe they're fighting over an autograph. Oh, there's Team Faith. It's his birthday. Trevor Lemaster over there, and it is his birthday. So let's give a big shout out to Trevor Lemaster, who's celebrating his birthday, and he is down there. You can find him, wish him a happy birthday down there at the Team Faith booth. And they do the chapel service on Saturday nights at 7. So come by and see that if you're out here at the track. If you're not, get to the track, check it out at one of our rounds. Pretty good stuff. Very thankful to them. But again here, race fans, to update you if you're just joining us, out of the gate, it was not Walker Fowler. We saw him take hole shots in round number 1 and round number 2. We come out here for round number 3, and who is it? It's Adam McGill out in front, and we saw the replay earlier. It was McGill followed by Chris Borich, and I'm trying to remember. I can't quite remember who was running 3rd and 4th, but Walker Fowler, to be noted, was back in 5th place. We know what he can do. He's perfectly capable of making up some time. But I think if you're around, Rodney does walk those pro rows and talks to those guys, and they're professionals. That's why they're out there on row 1. They're poised, they're focused, and even Walker said it himself. You know, everybody at the end of the day has got the same goal. We all want to win a championship, and it's not to say one guy's more hungry than another. They're all competitive, and you're seeing that so far here at the Maxxis Cannonball. Some good competition to get things started. So taking a look again at those overall, we'll give you a few more riders here. 5th place, Chris Borich, and he is up there in 2nd right now at the race for round 3. So he's doing a heck of a job. Landon Wolf is in 6th. Who is in 7th in points? Devin Feehan is 7th place in the overall. Now, I believe he is leading the XC2 class in points, and he is. And then behind him, out of the XC2, is Matthew Lindell. Matthew is 9th in the overall. So right in front of him, there's Hunter Hart, pro rider Hunter Hart on the 461 is out there in front of him. And then 9th place, in 9th place, we got that, Matthew Lindell. And then 10th is Martin Christofferson. So there is your top 10 in the overall. All right, race fans, so getting more looks. I got a feeling we may not have too many mud fleas today. What do you guys think? But we're not going to complain about that. The weather is prime for this one. Taking a look there at not Vendor Row, that's Pro Row. I saw Steve there from CST Tires hanging out with the McGill and company. Powwowing with those guys. Adam McGill runs those CST Tires, and see Steve down there shooting the breeze with the team. A few more shots of our riders rolling through there. Yeah, we are getting into this one to update you if you're just joining us. Again, it is Adam McGill out front, and Chris Borich is in 2nd. Now we're getting a look at our riders coming through here.
Well, there they are. I don't know if this is the wasteland part of the 7-mile marker or not. We just got an update there from our good friend Hollywood a few moments ago, and he tells us that this is nose-to-tail stuff that we just got a few moments ago. So here they go now, and looks like McGill still in control of the situation. But look there behind him, man. This is something we haven't seen in a while. Chris Borich up front, and, man, pushing hard. All these guys are pushing hard, man, and that right there tells me that we're going to have a rather exciting day of racing today. One other thing to point out, Walker Fowler didn't get the hole shot, and I think I heard you alluding to that a few moments ago, Mikey. Remember, he got the hole shot in the first 2 rounds, checked out on everyone, so that might be a little different scenario that we're watching unfold here today. We'll just have to wait with bated breath to see what the day does bring for sure.
Yeah, we had, you missed it earlier, we did the replay. While we were at commercial, they were crossing the 3-mile mark. And Adam McGill, I would say, I don't know, maybe 3-4 second lead. Very tight. But now we see here with the live feed, I mean, they're, like you said, they're out there tire to tire right now, and that's not something we've seen this season.
Not a whole lot, especially up there in that first and second place position anyway. So this is going to lend itself to being a little bit different affair here, I believe, today. We got some special updates we'll be getting from Hollywood and Jeff Russell today here. So anyway, as we check in, there's the XC2 Pro-Am class now. I didn't catch the number on that front quad there, but look, same scenario. We got a nose-to-tail situation that is unfolding here. So I think that we got ourselves a rather exciting race day to unfold, not only in XC1, but as well here in the XC2 Pro-Am class.
Yeah, and that's exciting. It's something, you know, we kept talking about it round number 1, round number 2. It seemed like it was just Walker Fowler out in front, and then it kind of flip-flopped. And the bikes on Sunday was where we saw some of the competition. But, hey, we're in for a treat, man, if we can have this going on all weekend in both pro races.
Well, right now, as we check in, we are 21.5 minutes into this race right now, so 21:37. It's a scheduled 2-hour race. I think we're anticipating lap times to be somewhere in the neighborhood of around 28 to 30 minutes. We'll see if that's the case. They could be quicker. They could be a little longer. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to say slower because obviously these guys are not moving slow at all as we approach the 22-minute mark. We just passed that 7-mile marker out here, and of course here our second running of the Maxxis Cannonball GNCC here in this particular part of Georgia. And here we are picking up some more riders out in the wasteland. This is an area of the race facility that has been logged. That's why we call it wasteland. This is not what all the racetrack looks like. And that's the good thing about GNCC. We go through a varying and a big variety of terrain changes throughout the course of a race. We'll see some wide open dusty sections. What you see here, kind of, sort of, it's not so wide open because if you get off the main trail out there, there's some stumps and some piles of brush out there that could really put a stick in the cog there, so to speak, in your progression today. So riders have been instructed to stay on track as much as possible through there and as close to the arrows. They can venture out if they want to, the norm 25 feet, but as you can see, there's not a lot of areas to pick and choose from there, so you better have your bearings on whenever you roll into this section of the racetrack right now. Some more good battling going on. That looks like that could be that junior 22+ class that we saw take off out there a little bit ago, and that's a 724 of Luke Shepard, who grabbed the hole shot in that one. He is still out front, it looks like, in this class. They can't quite catch the number on the 20. I got the paperwork here, see if we can get that, but and I grabbed 219. Okay, and I grabbed the wrong paperwork. But there we go, the junior 25+ class, folks. So we got good battling going on there. They started out in row number 3. Okay, they're coming up to the 9-mile marker here, according to radio reports that we're getting, so we should be getting an update. There's the 9-mile marker now. There is Adam McGill making his way in. And look at this, nose to tail as they approach the finish line now. There is McGill, there is Boric, and there is Walker Fowler back in the number 3 spot. That's LW, the number 7 of Landon Wolf back in the number 4 position, it looks like right now. So there they go, nose to tail through the woods section. And, folks, this race is far, far from over, and right now, the folks have Walker Fowler right where they want him. At least 2 of those guys do, and that is, of course, the number 2 and 3 guys from last year in that of Adam McGill and Chris Borch. And we'll see if they can keep him there, maybe pin him against the wall a little bit as more riders making their way in and through. The 201, that's Cody Collier right now. I believe that might be the other XC1 rookie just ahead of him, Wesley Wolf, that just checked in with us. So those guys appear to be running a solid top 10 position right now in the XC1 Pro Class. Be interesting to see where they fall, somewhere around 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that. But wow, pretty impressive for our rookies out here with us as we catch up with what I believe is another rookie. That might be the 14 machine. It is. That's Randy Hamilton out of New Jersey, one of our Jersey boys, and he is currently holding on or close to a top 10 position. He rides with Jared McClure Racing, of course, ATVriders.com, an avid XC2 Pro-Am guy we knew for so many years. This year he steps up into the XC1 Pro class, and here he is trying to keep pace right now. As you can see, a lot of tight woods out there, and what you're seeing right now is pretty much what you get through any of these wood sections. You talk to anybody that raced this morning, very tight situations to work with out there. There's the 427 machine, got that whole shot out there in the XC2 Pro-Am class, and is now holding on to, I wouldn't say a healthy lead, but it is a little bit of a lead that is starting to substantiate itself just a little bit as he continues to motor along here. So more of our XC2 Pro-Am riders are checking in, so we'll be getting some updates here, I'm sure, just prior to the conclusion of this lap, which I believe is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 11 miles or somewhere in that neighborhood anyway. And these guys right now seem to have it all pretty much right where they want it as far as the early part of the race, at least, and especially in the XC1 Pro class. They've got Walker Fowler where they want him. And if they can keep him there for the majority of this race, it could get very interesting down toward the end of this one. But you got to remember, man, Walker Fowler, he's right there within striking distance. He's a rider that does not like to be around other riders. He kind of alluded to that today. He likes to get out front and try to check out. And that's where the start has been so critical these last couple of races for them. But this time around, it happens a little bit different. Adam McGill gets the whole shot, picks up that $250 whole shot award check there. So congratulations to him as we check in with some of the cool things going on around this nice little facility, a quaint facility, probably one of the more comfortable places you can come to. I mean, it's one of those places where you feel like you're sitting on your back porch the whole time. And this guy right here looks real comfortable sitting in the water. And, of course, you got a chance to do some fishing down here, some wading in the water, and at the same time just watch some great racing action. And that is, I believe, out near the 2-mile marker where we've actually got a couple of ponds here, I believe, that folks have been bringing their poles and doing some fishing with and stuff. And this guy right here just chilling, man, just watching it all unfold. Right now as we check in, we are approaching 28 minutes. We're 27:51 according to calculations from my timing and scoring computer right now. Back out near the 7-mile markers, we pick up the heart of this race in some of the A and B classes right now. And we'll be running through several of these classes, or all these classes, and trying to keep you abreast of everything that as much is going on anyway, as well as the pro class racing that is taking place. And again, I'm expecting a radio update to be coming in here, and my radio might have been turned down, but I'm expecting a radio update to come in anytime. There's Luke Shepard again.
For the 11, it's still McGill out front, Borg, Fowler, Wheel, all 5, 6 of them, nose to tail.
10-4, copy that, Jeff. So Bryson Neal is one of those riders. It sounds like Neal might actually be moving up through the pack, and want to thank Jeff Russell, our trail boss, for giving us the update here on RacerTV.com, and for the folks here in the pits at the Cannonball itself. Sounds like things haven't really changed a whole lot. We should be seeing these riders. There's McGill right now coming past one of these pond sections as he is approaching the 11-mile marker. Look at the speed at which this rider is traveling at. And look at that. Chris Forge, man, cutting the inside of that turn. There's Fowler. There is the number 5 of Bryson Neal, who actually Walker Fowler said may be the fastest rider on the racetrack. We'll see if that pans out to be true today or not, Mikey.
And now, I don't know a whole lot about the track, but I got to think these huge open sections is going to create opportunity for that. I mean, if it's true that he's the fastest, he's got a good shot at moving his way up.
And, you know, they talk about the passing being very limited here in these tight woods. This is only the second event that we've held here with GNCC, and with the tight woods and stuff, it's tougher to pass out there, but what it does is it puts you in a better position heading into the field section because it keeps everyone tight together, nose to tail, as we kind of seen there, and then they can let it rip whenever they get out in these open sections like this. So out past the 11 now, Mikey, we roll, and we do see that some of these open sections are kind of dusty. The wood sections are actually kind of nice and comfortable. We had some rain showers that actually blew through, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday night that kind of actually dampened some of the terrain. Now, again, out in those open sections, a little drier, a little dustier is what we're bearing witness to here right now. But nothing really unbearable and nothing too much to contend with, I don't think, for these riders. Look at that. Randy Hamilton has closed up the gap a little bit through this top 10. Here come our leaders now, as it sounds like they are nearing the finish line. Nope, that's not the finish line. That's actually going through the pro pits. I'll get this down. I guess they'll go through the pro pits, then the finish line. Sorry about that. I heard them close by, but still not much change there. As we are approaching the 30-minute mark now, maybe just a little past. Let's update timing and scoring. Almost 31 minutes on this first lap. And the first lap may be a little bit longer with having to cross the road. They had like 1.5 miles, of course, they rode before they actually crossed the highway and got into the main track line itself. So they had some time to get things sorted out there. So 31 minutes. And now it sounds like they might be coming from the opposite side. That was from behind us. We're located with the press booth, the RacerTV booth next to the RacerX booth out down here that is selling subscriptions right now. But we're also right next to the finish line itself. So we're hearing bikes come from all different directions. There's Brian Wolf speaking all different directions. He's rolling down VP Fuels Pro Row right now with a fistful of throttle as he's trying to play a little bit of catch up. And there's another guy. If he gets out front, he is tough to beat, tough to track down. Wolf, though, a little bit further behind the 8 ball, it looks like here as we kick off round number 3.
But, man, how exciting is it? I mean, to this point in the season, it's still early, of course, but round number 3, we've not had 5 riders, your top 5, all riding together in a pack.
Not like this. That's not this year.
This is good stuff.
I like that GoPro Be a Hero shot.
Yes.
That GoPro Be a Hero shot of VP Pro Row. I want to say thanks to GoPro for providing us with extra cameras this week and for the remainder of the year, of course. There's our leads coming down in the battle going in the XC2 Pro-Am class right now. So lots of things still up for grabs there. And it's another tight one as well. We'll get the names and numbers of these guys all together. I actually brought my paperwork over with me, but when I grabbed it, I grabbed this morning's youth paperwork instead of the afternoon paperwork, and I do apologize. Otherwise, we could have gotten a lot more of these names out for you, and we will in the future, I promise. But right now, we're just waiting on these guys to hit this finish line region. And there is there is McGill with Borich not so far behind now as they weave their way through the Amsoil tree chicane here today in the MM521, the McGill Mafia 521. Adorned in green here today to kick off the first official weekend of spring in Georgia. Adam McGill getting the towel from Mama Fowler. Look at that. She's cheering them all on. There's Borich in second. There's Walker Fowler in third. Fourth place is the number 5 of Bryson Neal. Landon Wolf back in the number 5 position aboard the number 7 machine. As we update that, those top 5s nose to tail basically as they came through. Josh Merritt, look at this. Merritt in 6th place to open things up here today. That's a great one, especially coming off of that big wheelie curse that he had at round 2 in the opening ceremonies. I know that kind of threw him off for round 2. It might have inspired him too. Marty Christopoulos, the first of our rookies now checking in the 7th place position. Kevin Yoho back into this XC1 Pro class in the 8th place. Johnny Gallagher in 9th place. Tucker Wyatt coming off his best finish there 2 weeks ago is running in the number 10 spot. And the Snake, believe it or not, all the way back in 11th. Jared McClure is 11th aboard the number 4. Cody Collier at 12th. And Wesley Wolf seems to be having problems again. Oh, WW, man. He can't get it going here today. Last week he got the banners caught up in his thing, ripped the chain off that thing. He had all kinds of fits and troubles. Had a really good show at the ATV Supercross at Daytona International. That was his pro debut there, where he finished 8th, believe it or not. So congratulations to him on that. He's just trying to get things up and rolling here on the XC side of things. Brian Wolf checking in now in the 14th place position. He is about 35 seconds now behind Wesley Wolf. Now here's the gaps. I know that some of you folks may be wondering. We'll check in with XC2. I think these might be these guys coming in here in just a moment as Hamilton checks in. XC2 will be coming in just a moment, but the gaps between McGill and Borich, 1.1 second, 1.4 back to Walker Fowler, 1.1 back to Bryson Neal, 1.2 back to Landon Wolf. Then we have an 8-second gap back to 6th place Josh Merritt. Here come our XC2 Pro-Am riders now checking in. We're going to go down to the Pro-Am standings, and then we'll fit them in overall for you in just a moment after they check in through these Amsoil chicanes here at this Max's Cannonball GNCC. And it is Cameron Bruce. That's it, out of Darlington, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, Cam. Cam Bruce got the whole shot, picked himself up extra $100 there, and he's also got that first lap in the history books under his name. We got Austin Avenue, 7:03 from Petersburg, Indiana, in second. Third place, the 17 of Hunter Hart. Hunter Hart scoring that top 20 overall national number last year, racing from the College A class. He is a rookie in the XC2 Pro-Am class, nearly winning. He's been having some major battles in this class. Running third right now, Devin Feehan. The number 16 is fourth. Greg Covert is in the number 5 spot. We see Brandon Eichert in 6th. Bryson Hops runs 7th. Matthew Lindell is 8th aboard the 303. Sam Ho is 9th aboard the 941. And Kenny Schick rounds out the top 10 aboard the 31. There is Levi Cohen checking in the number 11 spot. Now let's go back, bump into this one more time, and insert them into the overall right now as far as the XC2 are concerned. We're talking about our top XC2 Pro-Am rider checking in 15th place overall, Cameron Bruce. And that's a little out of the ordinary. Oftentimes we see them in the top 10 or just outside the top 10. But today, man, it seems like things are laying in the way that they should. You got the 15th place. You got 14 of those XC1 riders, or 15, I think, of them. One of them must not have checked in just yet. But nonetheless, Bruce, Abney, Hart, Devin Feehan, Covert, and Eichert, they go, looks like 15 through 20. That's your top 6 in the XC2. They are 15 through 20 right there in the overall. So we got a lot of room for changes, I believe, as this race day progresses here, Mikey. And I think that we're baited here for a great day of excitement.
Yeah, I like it, and I'm not mad about the separation. I like seeing each class out there doing their thing. Nothing wrong with that. Talking about XC2, the Pro-Am class, Austin Abney there in 2nd place. And I know coming into the season, he had injured his thumb, injured a finger, I believe, at a local. And, you know, his dad was talking about how much he was worried that would affect him, and it did kind of affect him the first 2 rounds. So good to see Austin Abney working his way up into 2nd place.
The littlest things sometimes can really throw a major curveball at you, but adaptation, and sometimes it just takes a little time to heal up. And once that happens, they're able to get themselves in position. We got
Mile marker 2.
Go ahead, update.
All right. You got Adam McGill, 521. Then number 3. You got number 5. Number 1. All real tight.
10-4. Hey, we got a pass, guys. Bryson Neal has gotten around Walker Fowler. Number 7, Walt Hollywood telling us about 5 seconds back. But we've got a change right now. We have Bryce, number top 6 in there. Josh Merritt is checking in also. Thank you very much, Hollywood. Sounds like we've got a change there between the 5 and the 1. So, again, we got that change. We got the change in positions. That's kind of enlightening, I have to say, man. I mean, even if you're a Walker Fowler fan, you got to say, even competition makes it a lot more exciting.
Absolutely.
So we should be there. They come at the 2-mile marker now. I believe McGill should be checking in with us here in just a moment. There he is. There's McGill. There. Or was that not McGill? That might be a little further back in the pack right now. So I can't keep up with them.
We're getting distracted by the guy in the pond.
So anyway, I'm waiting on some Junior A 22+ guys to check in here in just a moment also. Steve Covert, Jade Millwood, Luke Shepard has dropped to the number 3 spot on the 724, by the way. Nick Mastrangelo is 4th, and Zach Wright rounds out your top 5. So there's obviously some passing room out there. 727, Zach Dean is running in the 6th place position of the Junior A 22+ class right now. As we continue to listen for more of the updates, and we should be getting another one here soon, but we can expect to watch a little bit of this racing in the meantime as well. So Covert, Millwood, Shepard, 1, 2, and 3. Mastrangelo is 4th. Zach Wright and 5th. Zach Dean at 6th. James Malger is 7th. 8th place now. Ryan Thompson, the number 350 out of Summertown, Tennessee, rounds out those guys right now. We are expecting more guys in here in a moment. We're 40 minutes in right now, it looks like. We're working on lap number 2 here. Mikey Wayans. And with that, we are taking a look with our top 5. And, man, what an exciting one. When they checked in, it was leading out front, Adam McGill, followed by Chris Borge, followed by Walker Fowler, followed by Bryce Neal. But since then, it has been Bryson Neal moving into the number 3 spot. Can Walker Fowler regain that position, or will Neal keep moving forward? Stick around. Racer TV continues after this.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of dirt bike lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATVMC, we go beyond selling parts, apparel, and accessories. We take pride in supporting the sport. We're proud to sponsor GNCC Racing and the KR4 team. It's just one more way to show our dedication for the fans and riders of this great sport. RockyMountainATVMC.com.
And welcome back, GNCC Racing Nation, here at round number 3, the Maxxis Cannonball in beautiful Sparta, Georgia. If you're just joining us, it has been a barn burner, to say the least.
Yeah, and, you know, we coined that term an awful lot, Mikey, and sometimes, you know, it seems like it might be overused, but we try to use it sparingly and under the right circumstances, and this is certainly one of the right circumstances. This is a true barn burner. As I like to say, somebody better call the fire department, because the boys are playing with matches, and we got a replay. We're going to go back and check into some action as during the commercial break, we caught up with our leaders once again. There is Adam McGill. Right behind McGill is the number 3 still of Chris Borge. And I think this is where we're going to get our first sights of the number 5 into the number 3 position. Look how close they are, though. I mean, you can almost throw a blanket over these guys. There is Neal checking in the number 3 spot. There is Fowler back and forth. And there's a little bit of a gap starting to open up between 3rd and 4th, and an even bigger gap back to the number 5 spot. Walker, if you notice, was looking back over his shoulder in that last shot. For you folks that are watching at home, and for those folks that aren't, well, that's what's happened. Walker Fowler's checking out what's going on behind him right now. And what he's seeing is a whole lot of number 7, Landon Wolf.
Yes, he is, and that's not something that he's been used to this season. And like you said, he's the kind of guy that likes to get out front, ride his own race, and take home a checkered flag, and they are not making it easy on him today. He's going to have to earn it if he's going to work his way back up there.
Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Wayans here on RacerTV.com. Want to welcome you all here to GNCC Live as we're here in the middle of the action, nearly 45 minutes into this race. 43 and a half minutes according to timing and scoring is what we're looking at right now. And we have still a long road to hoe, so to speak. We got a lot of racing to go. 30-minute lap times is what we're looking at, so we can anticipate a 4-lap race out here today. But it's going to, like I say, I think this thing is going to continue to keep burning and keep turning, and it's not over yet, folks. Do not go anywhere. If you're here at the racetrack, stay right where you're at, because you're going to get an eyeful. And if you're at home watching this on RacerTV.com, stay right where you're at, folks, because it's only going to get better. Nice shot of Pro Row again. Thanks again to GoPro. Be a hero, my friends. There is the number 14 machine, old RH, Randy Hamilton, in his rookie season here in 2017. There's some of our XC2 riders that are checking in. Again, at the last check with those guys, 427, Cameron Bruce was out front. And there's Adam McGill. No, that's 441 there. That's actually Brandon Eichert. He would be the 6th place rider in the XC2 Pro-Am class when they checked through there just a few moments ago. So Eichert still keeping steady pace there, it looks like. Nice crowd gathering here in Sparta, Georgia for this 3rd round of AMSOIL GNCC Racing. And I tell you, this is starting to put, if Sparta wasn't on the map before, it's starting to put it on the map as a host of motorhomes and race fans have been driving through that small community all day long. If they didn't know something's going on out here on the Hill Family Farm, by golly, they know something's going on out here today on Sam Hill Road.
That's absolutely right. I was in we were at the store last night, and I think it was maybe 40 minutes from here, and those folks were aware of what was going on out here. So GNCC making a name for itself here in Sparta, Georgia.
That's for sure. And folks, don't forget, log on to Instagram. You can follow GNCC Racing on Instagram at GNCC_racing. And what you want to do is you want to find our picture on there. We've got a picture that we Instagram from here, and we want you to comment under who you think your top 3 finishers overall are going to be here today. Now, again, we want to reiterate and remind you, you don't have to be right, but all you got to do is get on there and comment. Again, on Instagram, follow at GNCC_racing. Find the picture from today, our latest post, and then there you can make your predictions. We will announce the winner coming up at the end of today's broadcast, or near the end of today's broadcast and race. Again, doesn't have to be right, just got to play along. That's all we're asking. We just like to see what kind of guesses people throw out there. I've seen some pretty good ones before, and I've seen the right ones before, too.
Know their stuff. Speaking of knowing their stuff, check out the ticker we've got at the bottom of the program today. That's pretty cool stuff. Giving you the breakdown of the top 10 last time they checked in for a lap.
For sure, and want to welcome Adam Gordon out, one of our new I guess you would call him technical director, so to speak. He's and of course, with that, you know, he's manning a couple things. Then we've got Chelsea that is still working the headset here, telling us what to say and when to say it and everything. And talking about newness, man, we have a lot of great new things that are taking place, I believe, here in the GNCC racing world. So welcome Adam Gordon along to RacerTV, and again, I think that we can see the benefits already that are taking place.
I think the biggest difference for me is pressure. You know, it almost seems like I'm having more fun this year so far, because in years past, I've been kind of going for the championship in XC2 and expecting to be on the podium and expecting to win. And so you put a lot of pressure on yourself. But when you're a rookie in the XC1 class, it's tough to expect to win right off the bat. So, you know, as long as my goal is going in the season where, you know, regular top 10 guy and hopefully break to the top 5. So, and so far, you know, we've been pretty close to meeting those goals. So as long as we can stick with that, it'll be good. But I'd say having a little less pressure has been the biggest difference.
Oh, it's definitely an eye-opener, you know. I mean, the adjustment's not that bad. It's just making little mistakes. Their seconds count, whereas like in the Pro-Am or even the A-Class, you could make those seconds up, but like with losing the brakes, it was hard, or you couldn't even make those seconds up. You know, you had to salvage what you could. Pacing in lines, no, not really. I mean, I'm got the ride with the rear end of the pack, but that's not where I want to be. I want to be like around the 8th and 7th place, so we're hoping to get up there. I mean, find out how it really is come soon.
The transition from XC2 to XC1 is huge. I never would have believed it, except I lived it. And, you know, I thought I was top brass when I was going to move up into the class, and it's a rude awakening, honestly. It's not really like there's initiation that you get your crashed off the track and your tail kicked in or anything, but it's so hard to start with those guys when you don't have the adjusted time on your side.
Well, I tell you, good words from Walker Fowler, a couple of our rookies there, the newness and new guys on the XC1 Pro Class row there, and we actually have 4 XC1 rookies here in 2017. Wesley and Marty Christofferson, obviously, are 2 of them. We also have Randy Hamilton and also Cody Collier, the 201, whom we didn't see those last 2 there in the video, but they are certainly out there. They are certainly a part of it. And, you know, talking about Walker, and he talked about that huge step. I was talking with Wesley, and he says even though the step is huge, it was something that he was expecting, and he's right where he wants to be. You know, he's looking for a top 10. Oh, he's hoping to be able to push up to, I think he finished 7th or 8th last race. He's hoping to better himself by 1 position, and he says the real bridge to gap will be that 6th to 5th place position that he's going to be thinking that's going to be the tough one to gap. But nonetheless, man, it's neat to get and interesting to get the perspective of how some of these riders feel about stepping up into this pro class like that.
Take a look at there. You talk about that consistency, and he talks about that slow and steady progress as a rookie, and he's doing that. He's improved his finish round 1 and round 2, so we'll have to see if maybe Wesley Wolf can pull off another pretty good finish and just continue to improve upon that. Love having the rookies around here for the XC1 class.
I do know that Wesley has not necessarily had the stellar year that he was hoping for, but, you know, he had some growing pains, and, you know, he had some issues getting caught up in some trackside banners and things like that, which derailed his chain, and he had, you know, other issues there, I think, at round 1, but nonetheless, he has one of the most positive attitudes, and seeing the way he was able to take that confidence to the ATV motocross track for the Supercross at Daytona International Speedway a little over a week ago was just utterly amazing. This kid is a pure talent and on 4 wheels. And believe it or not, he kind of started a little later than most. You know, I mean, he was a little older in the youth ranks when he did start racing in the youth ranks, but man, he's come a long way real fast. Right now, as we check in, 51 minutes into this race, again, about 15 and a half minutes before we expect to see our leaders at the finish line for lap 2 complete. We have McGill, Boric, Neal, Fowler, and Wolf, your top 5. Again, Neal had just gotten around Walker Fowler. We saw that you know, via replay, that rapid replay there a few moments ago. And we seen that Walker Fowler was checking over his back shoulder there, doing the checkup from the neck up, as they say. When people are doing that, oftentimes, even for a champion, when they start looking over their shoulder, sometimes that's not a very good sign for whatever reason.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, Walker's been used to getting out in front early and just kind of, you know, riding his own race, like they say, and not been able to do that today, so he's getting into the mix of the riders.
I think we got an update trying to come in. Can you try that one more time? They might be just a little too far out, but we'll try to get that update. And, of course, Mikey, I know here we are in this 1 o'clock race like this today as we watch the pro pits here via GoPro, via Hero camera there. Man, I tell you, this is the third of actually 5 races that we're going to have today. That youth race this morning and, of course, the 10 o'clock race. They certainly brought to the table, I think, and kind of set the standard of what today's racing was going to be like, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think our super mini class, the morning youth ATV ride, has been a good one all season. Lane McCormick took his first win of the year today. Now, the cool thing about that, not to take anything away from the rest of the pack, but then this afternoon in the WXC class that we feature, Alicia McCormick took the win there. She took the checkered flag.
That's his mother.
That's Mom, yeah. So it doesn't get much better than that. And she said she was happier for Lane than she was herself. I said, well, that's fair. I guess yours is just icing on the cake.
It was funny. I seen her on the starting line just prior to the start, and I walked over and I patted her on the shoulder and I said, congratulations on Lane's big win. That was his first ever overall youth win like that. She was just beside herself and was excited. I said, now, he showed you how it's done, Mom. Go out there and follow his lead.
Well,
and she just kind of, she said, well, we'll see. And obviously she did just that. So congratulations to the McCormicks. You know, I had a chance. I talked with Alicia earlier in the week just to get some information coming into Quickville. And that was one of the things that she was talking about. You know, being the defending champion, she comes into the season, had 2 not so stellar races. I think she finished like 7th or 8th. Go ahead, update.
It looks like the top 4 still. You know, I mean, there might be 2 quad lengths between them. Here comes Adam McGill in the lead still. Oh, dang near bumping Nobby. Coming to a camera shot in about 10 seconds there. It's a 7.
10-4, thank you very much, Hollywood. Now, I will tell you, no, I didn't catch all that. Obviously not. But we will be seeing him at the camera shot here in just a second. But what he's telling us is that the excitement has not has not ceased any whatsoever. It sounds like it might actually be even tighter than what it was earlier. We're going to watch the monitor. I want to finish my story real quick. But anyway, Alicia told me, you know, she was more excited at the last round for the 4th place position finish for her boy because he got so close to the podium and everything. She said she was looking for a win for him and was hoping for that. And as far as her racing was concerned, she didn't like the way the first 2 rounds went, but she was putting her big girl panties on and going racing.
I like it.
That's a direct quote. There's McGill out front. We heard the call coming in from Hollywood out near the 7-mile marker, and still nose to tail the top 4, just like he said. It is still Chris Borge back in the number 2 spot, back in the number 3 spot. A little dust starting to kick up. That is the number 5, Bryson Neal Walker Fowler, back in the number 4 spot right there, closing in hard and fast as they kind of disappear out of this shot. But, man, I tell you right now, Adam McGill has this race in control at this particular time, man. And whether or not he'll be able to carry it all the way home, that question remains to be answered. But with this kind of intensity, man, we know if it stays like this for the entire 2 hours, what's the finish going to be like, man? You are not going to want to miss any of this race.
No, it's going to be an exciting one for sure.
Well, right now, as we continue to watch along, it's a little bit dusty out here today, getting a little choked up, if you will, so we're making sure we're drinking plenty of fluids. We hope that you folks are too. And I tell you, man, we're watching, and you know how oftentimes we talk about top amateurs and stuff. I do want to point out our top amateur in this class. It's the College A leader. He's only leading by 1.5 seconds, believe it or not, but he is our overall top amateur at the moment, and as we check, it is at 27th place overall. Drew Landers, he hails from Monterey, Tennessee, but Drew actually stepped up to the plate and came aboard with us to do the school visits. We do the anti-bullying, and we went this week to John Hancock Academy here in the Sparta area. And, of course, Drew was one of the guys that went over there. We want to say thanks to him for being a part of that. But right now we also want to cheer him on as well as he and John Glotta, only 1.5 seconds apart, first and second in the College A class. They are in 27th and 28th overall positions at this particular time, and I'm imagining that could possibly move up a little bit. Third in the top amateur standings, former XC1 Pro himself, that A class leader, as I like to call him, Big Papa P. He was married to the 9-time GNCC WXC champion Tracy Pickens. We're talking about Jeff Pickens out there. He is 29th overall right now, leading the Vet A 28-plus class. He got the whole shot in that one as well. We're going to start checking in with some more of these classes real quick. I want you to watch the monitor. You see, and actually, that's a good idea. So what we're going to do is we talk about Drew Landers there, and we're going to pick back up with things here in just a moment. But check out all the great things that took place at John Hancock Elementary yesterday. And thanks again to Drew Landers and all those that participated yesterday in our school visit at John Hancock Elementary. Thank you, John Hancock Elementary, and welcome all the students that are out with us today. We hope that you folks are enjoying this 2017 running of the Max's Cannonball GNCC. Checking in down at...
Update, get ready. They're coming towards the 9 right now. I can hear them coming. As soon as they get inside, I'll let you know the order.
10-4, Jeff Russell, we're listening. So we'll be listening for this update. We'll see them in the pits right after that. So, you know, Mikey, you might want to head on down here after this pit stop and get some of these interviews.
Still McGill. Looks like Borge is still second. Neal is in third. Just made the pass right here before the camera shot. Neal is now in second. Borge in third. Here comes Fowler, and here comes number 4.
10-4. Thank you, Jeff. We just caught that as Bryson Neal has moved into the number 2 spot. It is all over the rear wheels of the 521. I think that little bit of confidence that Walker Fowler gave him this morning, telling him he was the fastest rider on the track, has elevated him to new levels here today, as he is all over the 521 now of Adam McGill for that number 1 position. They'll be coming through the pits here pretty soon, or yeah, it should be before too long, as I know they are readying themselves there on pit road for these leaders. Here comes a couple more riders there. I believe is Merritt checking in. Wolf is in now. That is Landon Wolf. We've got 3 Wolves out here. None of them related, believe it or not, in the XC1 Pro class, but that's LW right there. Landon Wolf on the number 7 machine. He is running, I believe that would be a 6th place position, as Josh Merritt has made the pass into the number 5 spot with them now, as we are approaching an hour into this race. We're 6 minutes, actually we're over an hour now, and we're 6 minutes now away from the conclusion of this lap. Will Bryson Neal be out front the next time we see him? Man, he is riding with a vengeance right now, Mikey Waynes.
Yeah, I think he might have been listening on the interview with Walker Fowler, talking about how he might be the fastest guy out there. He's certainly doing his best to show it right now.
I tell you, we've seen that he has been in position before last year. It seemed like the wheels fell off. He got up there. It looked like he had the win, and then all of a sudden it kind of eluded him, and he had problems after that recovering and regrouping himself. There's another 340. There's another Wolf, I should say, on the 341. But he really seems to have worked hard, and the confidence level is really starting to soar right now. And again, he works with Barry Hogg, one of the greatest GNCC racers of all time, who is his team manager, tells him basically what to do and how to do it, and he briefs him in the races. They do all these meetings and stuff prior to the actual races itself, and they go over the game plans, and he tells him, this is how you got to race this today. And Bryson does not vary hardly any from what Barry tells him to do. Bryson knows that Barry knows what's going on, so he listens up, and obviously it's paying huge dividends right now as he's moved into the number 2 and working on the number 1 spot. There's Hunter Hart now. That's an XC2 Pro-Am rider that we just saw dancing his way through the woods. Hart was running in the 3rd place position behind Austin Abney, who was 2nd, and Cameron Bruce, the 427, who was 1st at the end of that first lap. We were talking about Cameron being there with the school visit there a few moments ago. We'll see how things are starting to unfold there. But, man, 7.5 minutes out, we should be seeing these leaders check in that XC2 Pro-Am class. As far as the Pro class is concerned, we are less than 5 minutes away from seeing whether or not the Bidwell Bullet takes his shot or not, and makes that pass on Adam McGill. He got around Walker Fowler. He got around Chris Borge, and now he's working on Adam McGill. Man, I tell you, this is an exciting day of racing as we wait again with bated breath just for something to unfold here and for us to get to see this on the camera. Man, what a lot of great camera shots here today. And that is that 16 machine making his way around again. That's Devin Feehan. That's the XC2 Pro-Am 4th place rider checking in that you saw going by there. Greg Covert was running only a second behind at the end of that first lap on board the number 9. He would have been your 5th place ride in that class, but it looks like things are starting to open up a little bit in all these XC2 Pro-Am positions. There comes more riders checking in, and like we said, it's opened up a little bit out there, it looks like. There's the 303 machine. That right there is actually, I think, out of the top 5. That is Matthew Lindell. Lindell was running in about 7th place, and he's moved up to a 5th place position now, so it looks like he is on the move forward himself. We got a lot of movers and shakers out there today, Mikey.
Yeah, this track is it seems to be opening up for these guys, and there's not a whole lot of separation. I mean, pretty much top to bottom.
May have another update. Just got to listen here real quick and closely. Waiting once again for the update to come in and for the next shot. And look at that, we got a new leader. We got a new leader. Bryson Neal is taking over the lead. Adam McGill is hot on his rear wheels. They are leaving Chris Borich and the #1 of Walker Fowler in their dust right now, folks. There is a gap starting to open, and right now it's Adam McGill trying to chase down the #5 of the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. He is taking shots here today in Georgia, man. Talking about a bullet against the Cannonball. Maybe this bullet's going to be the Bidwell Cannonball from now on, man, because he is rolling today.
Yeah, man, take a look at him in that open section there, just trying to create a little bit of separation. But wow, what a job by Bryson Neal.
Man on a mission out there today. I don't know. The confidence is just soaring in this rider. I mean, you see him. The offseason was a spectacular time for him. He trained. He got everything dialed in. I mean, he looked good heading into last year. Looked good at the end of last year. He looks amazing this year as far as physical fitness goes. And obviously, it's translating out there on the racetrack as well into good news for he and his team as the hard work is certainly paying off out there. Man, what a day. Who would have thunk it this? I like to say it like that. Who would have thunk this? But I tell you what, I can tell you who would have thought this. The guys over there in the Coastal Racing pits, they knew that they had something special over there in that #5 machine. They've just been waiting for him to shed it. Here they come through the pro pits, I believe. There they go. Yes, sir. In and out of the pits. I didn't see what happened, whether or not they were able to get in and out quick enough. I need you to go on over. Mikey, grab that microphone. We're going to get some updates from over in the XC1 Pro Pits, the BP Fuels Pro Pits here in just a few moments. And we're going to find out just exactly, get the lowdown on what's going on. I can tell you right now what's going on for the most part. Bryson Neal is on rails, and they're all just trying to keep his pace right now, and that's pretty much probably what the rest of this race day is going to be like, as we are now an hour and 6 minutes into this race, and we have yet to wrap up lap number 2. Is this going to be a 3 or 4 lap race right now at this point? If it goes 4 laps, it's going to be a long one, folks, and conditioning is going to pay huge dividends here. It's going to require not only the fact that you're got the endurance, but the heat, as we're looking at 70-degree temperatures here today, the sun coming in and out behind those clouds, a little bit of humidity, something that I'm sure a lot of these guys have not been used to so far this year. So the tail of the tape is going to come at the end of this race. There is no doubt about that. As we see Hunter Hart making his way through, we're going to see how things are starting to fare out for him. We are actually late right now for our leaders checking in according to calculations, but remember, that could be a number of different reasons as to why that is. We could be a little different off our timing and scoring computer, so I'm just going to go with our leaders are due in at any particular time now as we wait with bated breath to find out whether or not Bryson Neal can hang on to the lead. He's gotten up from 4th place here on lap 1 to at the end of lap 1. Through lap 2, he made his way around Walker Fowler. He made his way around Chris Borich right in front of Jeff Russell. We got the calls. They rolled into the camera shot, and then he got around Adam McGill. And both McGill and Neal have actually started to stretch it out. It wasn't a huge gap, but there was more of a gap than we've seen all day long between the 2nd and 3rd place riders starting to open up there. See some of our riders out there. That's the 16 machine getting his fuel. Again, Devin Feehan, XC2, that was, I believe, 4th place rider in that class, so his pro pit's out in the middle of nowhere, it looks like. 2-lap cord is going out, so this will be a 4-lap race, it looks like. An hour and 8 minutes into this one now as our leaders are checking in. There's Neal, there's McGill, there is Borich, and there is Fowler. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Mama Fowler cheering them on as they all go through, but she tells her boy, let's get rolling, get moving. But what's going on with Walker right now? Is he trying to get a drink? Is he suffering from some sort of cramps? We got Mikey Waynes headed down to the pro pits right now. We're going to get a full scoop on what's going on with Walker Fowler. If there are any problems at all, it might just be that everyone is on their game today. Walker is going to have to work a little bit harder if he intends to take this win. Sounds like Mikey might be ready. Mikey, what's going down in BP Fuels Pro Row right now?
Hey, thanks, Rodney. I'm down here at Coastal Racing talking to Bryson Neal's crew. Man, heck of a race so far. What's going on?
It's been good so far. Bryson didn't get off the line very well, but he's charging, and he made it to the front pretty quick, so hopefully he can keep the hammer down and make things happen.
All right, man, I like it. The rest of this race, still a lot of racing action left. He was able to work his way up there. Walker Fowler talked about him being the fastest guy out there. Any truth to that?
I think there is. I think when the kid's head's right, he's for sure the hardest worker out there. So when he gets to the front, they're going to have their hands full.
I think you're absolutely right, man. Well, good luck to you guys doing a hell of a job.
Thanks a lot, Mikey, and they are doing a great job, no doubt about it, as the number 7 machine checks in there. Here's the way they're breaking down. It is Neil, McGill, Boric, Fowler, your top 4. There's an 8-second gap now that has opened up to Jared McClure, the number 4, Josh Merritt, almost an entire minute, 59.7 seconds back in the number 6 spot. So those top 5 have really stretched things out there a little bit. LW Landon Wolf, the number 7, in the 7th place position. Tucker Wyatt riding in the 8th place position right now.
Camera shot at the pond.
Go ahead, update.
I was just saying I'm waiting.
All right, so we got one, another shot, or another update coming in. Johnny Gallagher, by the way, the number 13 out of Aurora, Ohio, celebrating his 23rd year as an XC1 Pro Class rider, is 9th place. Rounding out the top 10 is Marty Christopherson, one of our rookies. He's our top riding rookie right now. Mikey Waynes again down in the pro pits.
Hey, thanks, Rodney. Mikey Waynes down here with Walker Fowler's crew. Man, talk to me. Walker Fowler's back here a little bit. What's going on?
Yeah, we had a decent start. You know, bike fired good, and I think everybody else did too. We just got pinched off there in the first corner, and he's been running right up front. He just come in for fuel, so he's got no front brakes. So I don't know what's going on there, but try to get to the finish at least.
All right, man. Well, there you go, race fans. You heard it here. No front brakes for Walker Fowler. We'll take it back to you, Rodney.
All right, thanks a lot. And that's kind of self-explanatory there, I think, in a lot of cases. But one good thing about it is Walker Fowler is one of those riders like Chris Borch and the rest of those guys. They learn to adapt, and though he may not be able to run at optimal speeds, he'll still be able to run pretty fast. And once he adjusts to the absence of those front brakes, or if something happens and they miraculously come back, which oftentimes they do, they'll get hot out there. Sometimes they'll overheat and won't do so well, and then all of a sudden they come back. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Still watching that number 16. There goes Tucker Wyatt again, as we said, making his way through. Let's see about the XC2 Pro-Am class. There we go. Hunter Hart, that number 17. I wondered if he had not grabbed the lead in that class, and that's exactly what the number 17 has done. So now Hunter Hart, your new leader, he's up from like 3rd or 4th place on that first lap of racing. Devin Fehan is second, 1 minute and 6 seconds behind. Yes, you heard me correctly. 1 minute and 6 seconds. Hunter Hart made up some amazing ground, a 35:28 lap time. How does that compare to Pro? 35:02, 35:08. Wow, that XC2 Pro-Am rider's running some blistering fast lap times right now at 35:58. That means, wow, he's within 25 seconds of your leader's fast lap right now, and that lends you to believe that Hunter Hart could be one of the new up-and-comers, and if he can run like that, maybe on time adjustment, he could be a threat for an overall win here today. But don't forget, we got guys like Devin Fehan and Greg Covert who are fast as well, and this XC2 Pro-Am class is going to elevate as the season wears on.
Mile mark.
Go ahead. Go ahead, update.
Bryson Neal with about 2 seconds on Adam McGill, and then another 2 seconds Chris Boric. Top 3 with a little bit on number 1 Walker Fowler in 4th. 2 mile mark coming across the pond.
10-4 Hollywood, thank you. So there you go, folks.
Back is 4.
So another 5 seconds back there is, of course, Jared McClure. And with that, we'll be back with more GNCC Live after this.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why I
only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
CST Tires.
Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. Sound Art is elegantly hidden behind a high-grade, textured canvas wrap, bringing together the best of sound and art. This innovative design allows for a truly invisible, high-fidelity sound experience without bulky speakers. Sound Art by Ansia. Your art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes here from the Maxxis Cannonball GNCC in Sparta, Georgia, as the stage is set for big changes in GNCC's ATV Racing Day, as Bryson Neal once again traditionally not getting off to a great start, but difference was today Walker Fowler did not get the early lead in this one. Here's what the recap looks like. Adam McGill got out front. It was Chris Borch behind him. Fowler was in third. Bryson Neal worked his way up into the number 4 spot there on that first lap. Then he got around Walker Fowler. Then he got around Chris Borch. Then, just prior to the finish line at the end of lap number 2, he also made the pass on Adam McGill to take over the lead here at the halfway point. What an amazing feat for this young man. And Walker Fowler said it this morning that, you know, putting things together, Bryson Neal quite likely could be the fastest rider on the racetrack. And I think that Bryson Neal took that to heart today, and he is running with it here in Georgia as he continues to maintain the lead out there. What an amazing day. So much so that we haven't even had much of a chance to check in with a lot of these other classes so much, where Hunter Hart leads the XC2 Pro-Am, Devin Fionn in second, Greg Covert in third, Austin Abney in fourth, and Matthew Lindell in the number 5 position. There is Neal now out near the 7-mile marker. Look at this right here. There is no one there. Finally, someone got in the camera shot. There's a second place. There's third place finally coming in. And that's Borch in the number 3 spot. And a little further back, the gap continues to open with the number 1 of Walker Fowler. That's the number 3, the mile marker number 3, they tell us. And that's Jared McClure there rounding out the top 5. Go ahead there with the update.
Same routing order at the 3. Neal in the lead. McGill right behind him. Then Borch, a couple seconds back. Walker Fowler. And then McClure a couple more seconds back from them at the 3. Next update be at the 7.
10-4, thank you. So there you go. That is the 3-mile marker on this loop. There's a real close camera shot there. They're on one side or the other. That was the 3-mile marker portion. Now, one thing we want to point out, they had some pit stops there a few moments ago. Mikey Waynes, I didn't mention this yet since we've come back from break, but those of you that are joining us right now, we got a pit report out of Mark Notman down there at the Walker Fowler pits, the WFR Yamaha pits down there. And the report is that there's a little bit of mechanical issues starting to rise, it looks like.
Yeah, it sounds like, was it the front brakes?
Yes.
Yeah, front brakes, brake issue for Walker Fowler. So, yeah, that's probably, I mean, wasn't a great start for him to begin with. Add that element, and now he's really, he's up against the wall on this one.
Well, I got to tell you, championships are won on the worst days. And this right here, if this is a worst day for Walker Fowler, I could tell you right now, there could be a lot worse days for. And he's got to be pretty stoked with what's going on. And he's a smart enough rider and champion that he knows that. He knows that you can't come out and... (10-4) Hollywood. Getting some updates from these guys off of the racetrack right. So Neal, they're telling us, continues to lead out there. So we'll be watching that with bated breath. But yeah, so the brake issue, you know, it could fade, it could have faded, it could come back. Who knows how that's all going to pan out for him? But man, we still got a long way to go. We're an hour and almost 20 minutes into this race. We still got 27 minutes before this lap will be complete. Then we'll have one more lap. That's going to put us somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Could be one of the longest GNCC ATV races on history right now. Well, of course, with the Adam McGill out front, you know, a lot of folks coming into this one early on out there, obviously excited about that. I know Adam had his slow start, I want to say it there, in the first couple of rounds. He picked it up there in Florida, obviously. South Carolina wasn't so sweet to him, but man, today things are going very well. We had a chance to catch up with Adam McGill.
Was there speaking Spanish the last race, or French, or
Bad ones.
Dutch? Deutsch? And what an interrupting. Speakers of Deutsch? Don't laugh. Serious talk. You're watching GNCC on RacerTV.
Wiseco Performance Products is your one-stop solution for racing. They've got the products to keep you at the front of the pack. From their well-known high-performance pistons to industry-leading clutch baskets with a lifetime guarantee, they've got you covered. For performance you can count on, remember Wiseco. One name, one solution.
Whether you are looking for a 150 class or 600 class deer, X Factor Whitetails can suit your needs. We offer guided weapon of choice hunts for all groups of all sizes. From the time you arrive at our location, you'll get the 5-star service. We boast the capability of sleeping over 20 people comfortably.
Smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Got WildTech. They have full-size motorcycles. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. Can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name's Mike. My school's WildTech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro in WildTech.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes. The voices here at the Maxxis Cannonball GNCC Round 3 of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship, this 2017 AMSOIL GNCC Series, presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. And Mikey, I tell you, it's been a heck of a day so far, man. As we alluded there a few moments ago, all the changes that have taken place here today, the passes, the lead change with Bryson Neal working his way up through the pack after a not-so-stellar start, as they said there in the pits a few moments ago. But, man, he has really turned things around out here on this racetrack today.
Yeah, it's good to see Bryson Neal out in front. You heard Walker Fowler talk before the race today about how he's the fastest guy out here. And I asked Mark down there in the pit crew about it, and he said, yeah, I think so. And I think we're seeing that in action right now. And behind him, Adam McGill. And can we talk about that feature we just had on Adam McGill? Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of George, you know, that right there just captivates a little bit of the personality that Adam McGill has. And that's why he's one of the fan favorites. I mean, whenever you announce Adam McGill's name, you hear the crowd's cheers if you're down on the starting line down there. And there's, I mean, he's got such a great rapport with people, and he's real, man. I mean, yeah. he does not sugarcoat anything, man. And we see it, we hear it, and we see it. There's some micro riders we see walking through the woods right now. I think that's Lucas and Logan Grounds there, as they are actually going to be racing this afternoon about 4 o'clock on 50cc motorcycles and ATVs. But right now, we continue to roll. I want to check in with the XC2 Pro-Am. Actually, I think it's time we might go ahead and dip into that Mid-State Chevy Midway report right here for you. But as far as the XC2 Pro-Am class is concerned right now, Hunter Hart, as we told you, got out to the lead, opened that up. I think he was like 3rd or 4th at the end of the first lap. He's now 1 minute and 6 seconds ahead of the rest of the field out there. Greg Covert running in the number 3 spot behind Devin Feehan. Those guys are 11.5 seconds. So Feehan drops back to the number 2 spot. Covert is 3rd aboard the number 9. Austin Abney is 4th place, the 703. Then 5th place, Matthew Lendl, the 303. We've seen a lot of those guys going through. We've seen Brandon Eichert going through. He's only about 12 seconds behind Lendl right now. He's 6th aboard the 441. Cameron Bruce, 427. Got the whole shot out there in that led a good part of that first lap, is back to 7th. Now Kenny Schick, the 31 and 8th. Bryson Hops, 223 and 9th. And Levi Cohen up from 11th now in the 10th place after 2 laps of racing complete. And there's a rider, now that he's breaking into the top 10, be watching out for him to do just exactly that more in the future. As we continue with our Mid-State Chevy Midway report, stacking them deep, selling them cheap. John Glada Jr., the College A class leader now, leading Drew Landers. And Landers was out front a minute ago. They were leading the top amateur amateur, if you remember, a second and a half apart, running like 27th and 28th overall. We'll check into that in a few moments as far as the overall is concerned. But Glada is out front now. Landers is in second place. Third place, the 355, Dustin Atkinson out of Beverly, West Virginia. Fourth place, the number 50, Caleb Hagan out of Tompkinsville, Kentucky. Fifth place, the 808, Eli Kiger out of Waynesburg, PA. Then in sixth place, 72, Joey Lambright. He's out of East Palestine, Ohio. Seventh place, Tanner Walker from Berlin, PA. Eric Straub, the 857, is eighth out of Tower City, PA. And out of Canada, Matthew Bernard, the 251 machine. And rounding out the top 10, the 517, McCain Jennings out of Algonia, Iowa. That's college A class. Junior A class, Stephen Covert now, the 22-plus class leaders. He got around Luke Shepard, who's dropped back to fourth now, by the way. Covert out of Ithaca, New York on the 25-27. Nick Mastrangelo out of New Carlisle, PA in second. 727, Zach Dean out of Addison, New York is third. Shepard in fourth out of Marion, Ohio, the 727, or excuse me, that's 724. Then the 744, Zach Wright out of Granite Falls, North Carolina in fifth. James Mauger, Williamstown, New Jersey, 189 in sixth. Seventh place, the 423 of Jade Millwood from Cleveland, Georgia. Eighth place, the 831 Brody Livingood from Falling Waters, West Virginia. The 350 Ryan Thompson out of Summertown, Tennessee is ninth. And Dylan Como, Madison, Indiana's own, rounds out your top 10 and the Junior A 22-plus class. Next class, Vet A 28-plus class, as we check in with our Vet class riders. Big Pop B, Jeff Pickens, a 3-second lead over Dustin Hendershot. Man, Dustin Hendershot has been a formidable opponent in GNCC for many years. It's a name that I can remember calling way back when, man. I mean, he's been around, seems like forever, and I realize that there is some limitations to that, but nonetheless, he's been around for a while. He has always been a force to reckon with out of Washington, West Virginia. Bealsville, Ohio is home to Adam Reed, the 870 in third. Nick Carnilli, the 421 out of Concord, North Carolina in fourth. Wes Stone out of Auburn, PA is fifth. He's riding the 61 in sixth. The 883, Joseph Bosak. Bosak out of Penns Park, Pennsylvania. 444, Kevin Patterson. He's out of Barberville, Kentucky. Eighth place in 781, Jared Little out of Elkins, West Virginia. Walter Schumacher out of West Mansfield, Ohio, the 728 ninth. Chandler Cathy out of Monroe, North Carolina rounds out your top 10 in the Vet A 28-plus class. Senior AB class, Chris Berry, 773 from Mumfordsville, Kentucky. A minute and 54 second lead over the 414 of Ryan Reed out of Searles Ford, North Carolina. Only 28 seconds back to Michael Hayes, the 119 from Rocky Face, Georgia. In Spartanburg, South Carolina's Tracy Cantrell, the 824 and 4. 360, Eddie Seegers out of Woodruff, South Carolina is fifth. Glenn Ledford, the 710 from Connolly Springs, North Carolina in sixth. And the 77, Andy Cooper out of Seneca Rocks, West Virginia, rounds that top 7 out in the senior AB class. Now, taking a look at B class riders. These guys in with one lap complete so far, but we may see some changes in that as we continue with this Mid-State Chevy Midway report. Again, just want to say thanks to Mid-State Chevrolet, the official truck provider of the GNCC Racing Nation. And, of course, they stack them deep and sell them cheap there off of the Flatwood exit in the heart of West Virginia off of Interstate 79 there. Be sure to check them out for yourself and online at midstatechevy.com. So the College B class, Cade Vanderpool out of Indianola, Iowa, leading that one at the end of that first lap. The 888 Cameron Aby out of Union, South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, got the whole shot, was running second. 187 Michael Anderson out of Cloverdale, Indiana in third. Chandler Berner, the 540 out of Belly, West Virginia in fourth. Fifth, Chase Fetro out of Rachel, West Virginia. 406. Maybe it was Fetro that got the whole shot. There was a lot of guys that were vying for that one. Logan Weishauer, the 401 and 6. Corey Vandeliner, the 805 and 7. Dylan McClellan, 403 is 8. 419, Miss Emily Wise. Miss Emily Wise, that's right, you heard Miss. She's a whole shot queen. She won't be long before she'll be taking whole shots in this College B class, I believe. And Cage Chrisman, the 172, rounds out your top 10. As we go to the go ahead, update.
Bryson Neal has pulled out about a 7-second lead over McGill, Forrest, Fowler, and McClure. Got about a 5. Next 4 are almost
10-4. Thank you very much, Hollywood. Wow, you heard it. Bryson Neal starting to pull it out there near the 7-mile marker. And here he comes on the screen. We'll continue with the Mid-State Chevy report here in just a moment. But look at Bryson Neal rolling like a cannonball. No, that's not Neil, but he's still rolling when we see him. He will be. It looked a lot like him. Uh-oh, McGill in the pits. There's what. That's not McGill. Who is that? That is a. We're getting some false information here. 209. That is. Okay, Chelsea. Sorry about that, hon. But the 209 in the pits right now. We'll get that name for you here in just a few moments. I'm going to continue right here with the Junior B class. Keep an eye on that screen, and when we see Bryson Neal, I think we're going to see something that is going to be very impressive. It looked like he was all by himself. That happened to be a lap rider or one of our other B class riders out there, but regardless, he was looking good himself, and if he looked good, I can only imagine how well we're going to see Bryson Neal looking whenever we see him. But right now, Junior B 22+ class, Chris Ballou out front out of Leoma, Tennessee. Eric Colafield, the 354 out of Bakersfield, North Carolina, is second. William Wallace, 235 out of Street, Maryland, in third. To 500, Reese Parvin out of Akron, Ohio, in fourth. Fifth place, 416, Travis Mathias out of East Rochester, Ohio. Charlie Rogers, the 209 from Washington, PA. Seventh place, the 66, David Kite from Northeast Maryland. Export PA home to Travis Bell, the number 353 in eighth. Ninth place, 825, Ethan Fitro from Mannington, West Virginia. And Cornelius, North Carolina, is home to Byron Tuttle, the 611, who rounds out the top 10 there in the Junior B class. Next, we look at the Vet C class, John Salsa. The Vet B class, John Salsa, 410 from Warwick, Rhode Island. Wow, he comes down from a long haul down for this one. He is 17, call it 18 seconds ahead of the 456 of 84 Pennsylvania's Brian Vasco. Justin Kerr, 386 out of Waynesburg, PA, is third. Zach Phillips, 405 and fourth out of Parsons, West Virginia. Appling, Georgia, home to the 458 of Brandon Trapp in fifth place. Sixth place, 698, David Napo out of Eden, New York. Seventh place, 753, David Rutter from Nelsonville, Ohio. A spot, 394, Howard Harton out of Rutherford, North Carolina. And ninth place is Alan Tuttle from Mooresville, North Carolina. That's your Bet B 30+ class right now. As we look next, John, was that the Bet B class? Well, that was the last of our classes that we have to look at. So that's our Mid-State Chevy Midway report. We burned through them all there, man. And I tell you, that's pretty exciting stuff. We're seeing some of the Junior B guys check in now. We see Ballou, Holyfield, Reese Parvin now is in third place aboard the number 500. He's 1 minute and 31 seconds back, but he's making up some ground out there. He actually turned a 45:21 lap time that time around. That explains a little bit of the gap that he's got going on behind he and the leaders right now, but at the same time, making the transition a few years ago from motocross to XC. Then he retired from both for a couple of seasons, said, I can't take it anymore, and comes back out this year. And when he saw me, he walked up to me and said, man, I missed you, gave me a big old hug. And Reese Parvin, I call him Reese Cup, up out of Ohio out there, one of the Ohio crew riders that we always like to call, man. Just a lot of heart coming out of the Buckeye State in a lot of these different divisions, whether it be GNCC or if it be ATV motocross, that's for sure. Luke Shepard is another rider from up there in the heart of Ohio as well, as we talk about him a lot. So we got Hunter Hart still out front in the XC2 Pro-Am class, as I don't know if he said it, but walking the dog. Sounded like he might have said it, but it sounds like, and it looks like, if he didn't, I'm thinking that, man. There's a little dog walking going on right now, and Hunter Hart has probably got the best pace going. 1 minute and 6 second lead over second place Devin Feehan at the end of lap 2. Now, those guys are due in about 13.5 minutes. Our XC1 due in about just under 11 minutes. We'll say somewhere around, we'll just call it 11 at this particular moment. Our College A class was leading. Actually, let's check back in with the overall top amateurs right now, and then also look to see how things are starting to fare out. Hunter Hart just broke into the top 10 overall. He leading the XC. So getting some more updates. That's Greg Covert, I guess, back in the number 3 spot.
Coming into your shot now. Here comes Neal right now, 9 at the 9.
10-4, Jeff. So Bryson Neal.
Looks like Bowers moved into the number 2 spot, then McGill, then Borich, right here.
Well, there you go. Spoiler alert if you're watching TV right now. Thank you, Jeff. We got a new second place rider out there. It's Walker Fowler. No front brakes and all. I told you, man, those things could come back at any time. He's moved into the number 2 spot. McGill is in third. Fourth place now is Chris Borich, as those guys somewhat nose to tail now as they make their way by there at about the 9-mile marker. So they're getting closer, less than 10 minutes out from the finish line right now. But looking at this overall, as we said, we got some big things going on there. Hunter Hart in 10th, Marty Christopherson 11th. They're 6 seconds separating first and second. Then back to Devin Fehan, 1 minute and 6 seconds. So I said it was a 1 minute and 6 second lead for Hart, but it's Christopherson. No, wait a minute. Christopherson is not XC2. I forgot he's a pro, or XC1 Pro Riders rookie this year. So that is Hunter Hart 1 minute and 6 seconds ahead. I'm getting confused there. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to confuse you in the process. But Devin Fehan is 1 minute and 6 seconds in second place behind Hunter Hart. Greg Covert, 11.5 seconds back. Third place in the class. He's 16th overall behind Fehan, who is 15th overall. And then we see Austin Abney is 4th. In 5th, Matthew Lindell. Brandon Eicher rounds out the top 5 in the XC2 Pro-Am class, and that rounds out the top 20 as well. But as far as top amateur, they moved up to 21st and 22nd overall right now in the standings. John Glott still holding on to that by 10.9 seconds over Drew Landers. Cameron Bruce is, well, actually an XC2 rider, so he would be 23rd overall. Couples more spots back. Then Vet 8. 28-plus class leader Jeff Pickens, 27th overall, is leading that class, and Dustin Hendershot, 28th overall. They've got some ground to make up to be considered and vie for the top amateurs right now, but you got to take your hat off and amazement and respect both for Landers and Glotta right now. They have just got a blistering fast pace going on in that college 16 to 21-year-old class right now, Mikey.
Yeah, that's impressive stuff. I love all the competition, the tight competition we're seeing from top to bottom. We're making a concerted effort this year to try to highlight some of the other classes, and I'm glad we are, because, man, there's some great competition going on.
Most certainly is. There's LW right there, Landon Wolf, the number 7, if you're watching our television monitors right now. And we are checking in with he is running in the number 7 spot on the number 7. So he's right on track if you take into consideration the way things finished last year. Now I'm going to read these names and times for you real quick, just to give you an idea just how much this race can still change before it's all said and done. As Josh Merritt checks in now. We see him on screen there, grabs a bottle of water. He's your 6th place ride. But Bryson Neal leading. We just saw that Walker Fowler moved into 2nd place. Adam McGill was 3rd. Chris Borch was in 4th. That still leaves Jared McClure about 10-15 seconds back in 5th. A minute back in 6th is Josh Merritt, and only 1 second behind him then is Landon Wolf in 7th. So that 6th and 7th ride of Merritt and Wolf, they've got themselves a great battle going on. But how about this? Tucker Wyatt, 8th place, man on a move right now, is pulled to within 7 seconds of Landon Wolf. And if you do the math with the lap times, if they stay consistent, he was 11 seconds faster. So conceivably, in theory, Tucker Wyatt should be getting around Landon Wolf and soon to challenge, quite possibly, Josh Merritt for that 6th place position. So it sounds like some far-reaching updates trying to come in there. Well, folks, one thing that you might notice out here, one name that we have not mentioned even on the starting lineup today, and that, of course, was the absence of the 733 of the Cole train, Cole Richardson. Just want to let Cole know we hope everything's going well for him. I know that he is a little under the weather, suffering some issues and some problems. We hope that those get better and that you can be back to the racetrack soon. I know he had a rough off-season. Injuring his shoulder and arm and stuff there, and had a couple other little things. Also been fighting Crohn's disease, just a number of things. Had basically the last few season openers there have created what I think, to be honest with you, some major challenges out there for everybody, including him. And it's made for some excitement at the same time too. And listening to the radio, I'm waiting for some updates right there right now, Mikey, and Somehow or another, we had a free and clear channel with nobody on it. Now everybody's on it. I don't understand it. So we probably won't get the updates that we have been getting earlier. But nonetheless, we're going to be going with this particular race right now. 4 minutes, 46 seconds before we're going to see the conclusion of lap number 3. Believe it or not, lap 3, and get this, an hour and 39 minutes in. Under normal circumstances, we would be seeing and readying ourselves for checkers coming out at about the 2-hour mark. A little before, a little after. Today, though, doing the math, hour and 40 minutes, I call it an hour and 45 minutes, running 35-minute lap times. We will likely see this race running to a 2-hour and 20-minute time frame. Now, that brings in a lot of big questions here. These guys have never had to actually, on the side of things as far as time and fuel mileage, have to factor in the extra time out there. Whether they're factoring in time or mileage, I don't know how they're working that in. But regardless, the track is a little bit long today. We're talking 11 miles. That's, at the end of that, going to be 44 miles that these guys are going to be racing through these woods here today. So they better hope they've got their gas mileage calculations right, because if not, it could cost huge here today. And I know those guys over in the pits right now are scratching their head. They're thinking, yeah, you know, that's right. We got a little longer extra track today, a little longer extra out there on the racetrack. How is that going to play into things out there? That's my question anyway.
Yeah, and I think, too, you think from Walker Fowler's perspective with the rough start, the brake issue, maybe that's worked itself out. He might be thankful this one's going long. It may give him just enough time, maybe pull off a wild win here to finish.
No doubt. And again, you know, I said it before, endurance is going to be, I think, as critical and crucial today as it ever has been in a GNCC race, and especially with the level of competition that we have going on right now. It's really got things intensified right now. And you got to wonder, man, I mean, with the intensity level, I know these guys are well conditioned, longer time on the racetrack, more intense racing for the entire 2 hours out there. Will we begin to see these top guys show signs of fatigue out there? I'm gonna go on a limb here and say no. I don't think we're going to witness that these guys are tired. We might see it a little bit in their face at the end of this one, but I really have to tend to believe no. Walker Fowler might be, and the reason I say this, and I'm not taking anything away from his training, but think how much harder he's had to work not having brakes on the front of that machine out there to ride. So he may actually be taxing himself a little bit more than these other guys, just simply because he's having to ride over issues out there right now.
Every time I see it, I laugh. I can't help it. That's good stuff. We have all sorts of people in attendance, as well as inflatable dinosaurs.
Finish line. Here they come by the finish line right now, and or close to the finish line region, I guess. We are 1 minute and 47 seconds out from seeing them. There is the number 5 machine, and this could be a little bit ahead of schedule. These guys could have picked up the pace that much. They could have, I believe.
Getting on each other's tails and pushing it.
They are. And look at that, white flag is out. They actually came in about a minute early, according to my calculations right there, folks. So Bryce Neal's picked the pace up on this one. He actually ran the fastest laps of the race, the last 2 laps, the last race, and he gets faster as the day goes on. Here's the lap time: 34:07 Bryson Neal, 34:03 Walker Fowler, 34:06 for Chris Borich, a 35. Where's Adam McGill?
Adam McGill just checked through right there.
Wow, a 34:15. He's 19 seconds back, so something happens. There's our first gap that we're seeing amongst our top 5 or top 4. We got a 2.3 second gap between Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler, and a 0.7 of a second gap, actually 3/4 of a second, 0.750 between Chris Borich and Walker Fowler. Chris Borich is all over Walker Fowler right now. And here's the thing, even if Chris Borich doesn't best Bryson Neal today, and he can best Walker Fowler, can you imagine what that's going to do for the confidence? Can you imagine how that's going to get in the head of Walker Fowler if he can get around him? And if Walker Fowler has no mechanical issues or no underlying issues that are causing him not to be able to run at optimal speeds, man, this day today could be setting the stage up for a very exciting championship from this point forward.
Certainly could be a pivotal round 3 for sure.
Well, as we roll into this final lap of racing, we should be seeing checker flags out in just a little over 30 minutes, 33 minutes to be exact is what we're calculating out. And we've had a lot of people. We want to say thanks to everybody that has joined in and played along with our Instagram game today in our podium choice. And there it is, our winner with $250 of AMSOIL product. Team Moscala, Todd Moscala, the Marlboro Man. Must not have made the trip down today. Marlboro Man, good that you're watching it back home. He says Fowler, Neal, and McClure. Don't know that those are going to be even the right names on the podium other than maybe Neal and Fowler at this point, but you got yourself $250 in AMSOIL product, man. Thanks for watching RacerTV.com and GNCC Live. Yeah, Jeff, all I can hear from some of these reports, I'm just getting static, and that's it. But right now, you're crystal clear.
You know, Rodney talking about.
Last report I got from you was good, I think, Hollywood. So just keep those coming in, guys. We're listening in. So.
Right here at the 2. I'm waiting on them now, Rodney.
10-4 Hollywood will be waiting right here, brother. Look at that, man. That right there, if you're watching on the monitor, that is not a very good predicament to be in. That's 746 on his helmet tag. Oh, man.
Wiggle with it.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. He just waved at the TV.
All good.
Yeah, we got you. You can go back home and watch that. He's probably getting texts and tweets right now, and everybody's saying, hey, man, we saw you on TV. Well, here we are at the finish line. We're watching some close to the finish line. We're watching some of these riders check in. As you can see, not nearly intensity for some of these guys that we see up in the front of the XC1 and XC2 classes. Speaking of XC2 classes, what's going on back there, my good friends? Let's check in and see for ourselves. Right now, we're about 20 seconds out. So I'm not going to... I think that Bryce and Neal and those boys picked up the pace a full minute plus than over the rest of the lap. So they're going faster now than they were in the early part of the race. Hunter Hart and those guys must be running on schedule because it's now approaching the late mark for those guys, and they still haven't checked in. The other guys came in early. XC1 guys come in early. These guys are coming in a little bit late according to what they had a lap ago. So we wait now to find out if it's going to be much. There is the yellow machine. Is that the 17 or not? I believe that, yes. Hunter Hart, I believe that is, checking in with us right now. All right, just to give you an idea, 35:28 lap time last time around. This time around, a 36:11. So he did slow down. Everybody else, the XC1 guy sped up. The XC2 class has slowed down, or at least...
About 10 quad lengths between first and second and third are wheel to wheel.
10-4 Hollywood. That second place battle's heating up. There were less than a second coming through the finish line there a minute ago. Wow.
Went by about 15 seconds back. I'm headed to the 3 to try to catch them there. Have the camera guy ready at the 3.
10-4, so we'll catch him there. And Chelsea, if you don't care, come back on that. Well, right now, Walker Fowler, man, I tell you, he has had his work cut out for him. Bryson Neal has been the man to beat. Obviously, comes from behind, passes everybody to move into the #1 spot. But also, back there behind him, we saw Fowler dropped all the way back to 4th. He's gotten all the way back up to 2nd. Man, these two guys are elite athletes. There's no doubt about it. They both respect each other to the highest levels. And I know Walker respects every one of the riders that he lines up against. In talking with him prior to the race, and there's no doubt about it, he knows coming into these races, as good as the last 2 races were, today was going to be a new challenge, and he was ready for it. We had a chance to catch up with him and talk about this weekend's racing coming into this this day of today.
Yeah, the first couple rounds, I just like to get out and run my own race. So I think it's important for me to, that's my comfort zone. I like getting the whole shot. I like being in control of the race, and I'm 2 for 2. And clear track. You know, like I said, I kind of control my own destiny at that point. It's coming. The guys are totally going to latch on at some point. This race, the next race, it's coming. They're getting closer and closer. The speeds are picking up, but our preparation's really been huge this year and has been able to elevate us to that next step. It's just it's kind of fast, flowy, some tight stuff, but it's cool to be at a newer track. You know, so we have a couple, 4 or 5 years if we continue to come here that it'll all be relatively virgin trail still, and then it slowly turns into, you know, the super highways at some of the other tracks that we have been to for 20, 30 years. But it's cool. I like this place, and last year I had a great start and had a good finish. I won. Chris Borge followed me around all day, so I'd be curious if he rekindles his romance with the Suzuki and see if he can run behind us all day again.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Suzuki romance has certainly been rekindled, I think, for Chris Borge, as Walker Fowler alluded to there a moment ago. And I tell you, man, and Walker, he saw it coming, man. I mean, Walker does not come into these races blindsided by anything. He knew what to expect coming into this one. He got everything he expected and more, it looks like. And there's the 741, by the way, Wesley Wolf checking in. Just letting you know, he is back in 17th place overall. That should put him in about, I think, 13th place in the XC1 Pro class right now. There's Bryson Neal, I should say. Sorry about that. But Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, a.k.a. Cannonball himself, out there rolling through the soils of Georgia right now. Look behind him. It is Walker Fowler in second, and right on his rear wheel is the number 3, the 6-time GNCC champ, Chris Borge. I'm telling you, folks, this is a long, long way from over. We're on this final lap. You look at the time left in this one, still 26 minutes to go, and a lot of things can still happen out there, Mikey Waynes.
Fowler, Chris Borge, scrubbing plastic, as you can see in that camera shot, 3-mile mark.
10-4. That is for sure rubbing plastic, as they saw. I love Hollywood's call of the race. There's the number 4 machine, Jared McClure. He is now 19 seconds back. Adam McGill is back to 5th place. McGill is 3 seconds behind, or was 3 seconds behind McClure. So big changes there for the MM5221. Or 521. He was held up by a lapper right there, so that's going to open things up a little bit. And that's another thing that we haven't even talked about or even mentioned here today is lap traffic. Now, a long track, not a huge turnout, so it's this late in the race, Mikey Waynes, before we actually see it becoming any watt of a factor, I think, in this race.
Yeah, it's not been a huge factor, and maybe that's why they've still got some of that stamina. We talked a moment ago about them, excuse me, maybe getting fatigued with the race going this long, but I think seeing those lap times here at the end getting a minute faster, I don't think there's any question about their fatigue at this point.
No, not at all, at least heading into that one lap. But again, we're looking at 20 minutes longer lap time likely here. And if that be the case, then I'm telling you, it's a lot of changes can take place. And again, I'm not sure how, I'm sure they had it figured out. I know these things get immaculate gas mileage as far as that goes. And sometimes, you know, the guys, they'll toy and play with those gas stops and everything. Now, they made their gas stops, I think, after lap 2, if I'm not mistaken, or on lap 2. So right now, will they have enough fuel? Will they be able to make it to the finish line? And I'm going to go out on a limb and say under most circumstances and in most cases, yes. But there might be a rider or two out there that might be using a little more fuel than they're used to using. Remember, the pace is a lot quicker on this next to the last lap than it has been in the previous couple of rounds. So maybe the fuel mileage will be a little bit different this time.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out here with one lap to go.
Well, 24 minutes, according to timing and scoring, is what we are expecting in way of the checker flag. And right now, as far as our top amateurs, we're going to check back in with that. Still not got our third lap in complete for the college class just yet, so we're going to continue to wait on that one. I'm going to go down here and check with the junior boys. I believe the college A class. Drew Landers. Ah, there he is. Yep, I thought it was about that time. So checking in now, Drew Landers in that college class. And as far as overall, he goes up to 18th overall. Don't even have to scroll down. Drew Landers checks in an 18th overall position. He's your top amateur non-XC1 or XC2 rider that we have on the racetrack right now. Look at the lap times he's turning. Almost a full minute faster than Wesley Wolf, who's in 17th place overall, and as well a full minute faster than Brandon Eichert, who's XC2 Pro-Am in 19th place overall. Man, Drew Landers has found some rails out there, and he's riding them to the limit right now.
Yeah, I like that. And like you said, he's on the no scroll list in that overall. So cracking the top 20, that's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. As we look back just a little bit further, John Glada has not even checked in yet. So 36 seconds is what the gap. It was a little bit closer than that, I think. But regardless, it's the face of this race has changed in a lot of different classes. I might try to do a couple of top fives here for you real quick as we approach this finish line. And the end of this race and run through all these classes. We'll keep an eye as well on the monitor here for those folks watching RacerTV.com at home and want to keep up to date with what we're seeing there. So real quick, I want to give you an idea as we roll through this last lap of racing, what some of the things that maybe you might want to wait just a couple more minutes right now, because a lot of these classes only end with 2 laps. So I want to see what the stage is really starting to set up like. Man, do you hear the screams of folks out here in the pits as these riders are going by? And I don't even know if this was pro riders that were going by over here, but man, there was a big rousing cheer coming out of the pits over here. So there's a lot of exciting racing action going on all around this racetrack right now. And there is Hunter Hart, the number 17, 10th place overall XC2 Pro-Am class leader, 28-second lead over Devin Feehan after 3 laps complete. So he is starting to stretch things out there just a little bit. That's interesting to watch as we look back. Greg Cover to be another 29 seconds back. Then it's 2 minutes back to Lindell in 4th place and 1 minute and 42 seconds back to Eichert. So 17 and 16, 28 seconds apart. We should be seeing Feehan out of Windsor, New York. These
mile mark. 17, Hunter Hart in the lead, but second place has closed the gap. If you've been looking at the live scoring, they got he's closing on him.
10-4, we were just talking about that, Hollywood. Thanks for that update. So there you heard it. 28 seconds is what it was a little bit ago at the end.
Maybe we can get that in before the XC1 gets to Jeff at the 9.
Copy that, Hollywood. So Hunter Hart, Devin Feehan, Greg Covert, 1, 2, and 3. Feehan has now closed that gap up from 28 seconds. Didn't get the exact time on it, but if Hollywood says the gap is starting to close and he's reeling him in, that means he's probably getting pretty close and within sight, and that Hunter Hart might be able to hear him and feel him in some of these open sections out here. And we're going to get, I think, a full look at it ourselves coming up here pretty soon if we keep an eye on things. We are approaching the 2-hour mark right now. Oftentimes, the checkered flag is in Ricky Towery's hand at this moment and getting ready to wave, if not already waving, at 1 hour and 57.5 minutes into the race. Today, they're going to be another, well, let's make sure we get it right for the pro class. We anticipate another 19.5 minutes before we see those guys in. That will put us maybe closer to the 15 mark than the 20 mark. As I said, it was going to hinge a lot on how fast these guys were able to pick things up out here. And with Bryson Neal out front and on point right now and wanting to set the standard and the pace out there, he's wow, he's terrorizing this track. Now, I gotta wonder, man. I mean, what's that going to do for the confidence of everyone else? Or is it just going to make everybody mad? They're just going to go home and work that much harder to try to raise to that level. I have to tend to believe that the second is probably the truer of the two statements.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think I think we're going to look back on round 2 and talk about, man, that was the one. That was the pivotal round where everybody said, you know what? I got a shot up there at top of the box. And I think you're going to see a lot of confidence coming from a lot of different riders after this round.
That's right. Actually, third round. I know.
Third round, yeah.
I know. We've been. It's hard when we're not used to being in Georgia for round 2, but round 3. And you're right. And it's pretty neat that it's kind of taken this long to see this happen. But we saw it building in South Carolina. We saw it building in Florida, and we see it right here. We see the finished product of that right now, or at least what seems to be the finished product of step 1 for Bryson Neal anyway. And that is get out front and try to take a win. This could be a very historic day here today in Georgia because Bryson Neal could be taking his first win. I think it was a year ago, right around this round 3 or 4, he was almost ready to take his win. He got it stolen away from him in the closing moments of the race to come up just a little bit short. But today, man, I don't know. I just don't see anything going awry for this rider. Too many. The stars are aligned, man. I mean, the ducks are in a row. However you want to say it, it's happening for him today.
Yeah, he certainly looks good out there. I know coming here last year, he finished 3rd on the podium. And like you said, that close to this time last year, he was looking at his first win. So I got to think that's in the back of his mind, and I think that's going to help him push and hopefully get this W.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look at it all, it all started out there earlier today, man. Adam McGill got the whole shot. He led those first 2 laps solidly today. The big news was watching back there in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place positions where we saw a little position jockeying going on. And of course, eventually Chris Borch was able to solidify it. Well, there in the early part was able to solidify that 2nd place position while Walker Fowler was back there in 3rd place, and Bryson Neal was the 4th place ride. And like we said, we were talking about what Walker had mentioned about Bryson being possibly the fastest guy on the track, and no more did we get that out of our mouth. We got the radio update that Bryson Neal had gotten around Walker Fowler to take over the number 3 spot. And then it wasn't just a few minutes later, we got the update that Bryson Neal had moved into 2nd around Chris Borch. And then before you know it, coming into the final stages of that 3rd lap there, Bryson Neal made the pass on Adam McGill. And, man, I tell you, I might have been heading into that 3rd lap, but regardless, he made that pass, and it's been all B. Neal from that point forward, it looks like. So right now, last time around anyway, Bryson Neal had a 2.3 second lead over Walker Fowler, who had a 0.7 second lead over Chris Borch. So it was Neal, Fowler, and Borch. Now Neal has stretched that out just a tad more than the 2.3 seconds. Borch and Fowler continue to battle back there in that 2nd and 3rd place position, and Adam McGill is trying to make up for some lost ground. He drops from like a 1st place, eventually now down to a 5th place position in this battle, man, and that's got to be a heartbreaker for him. And I have to tend to believe that that's something probably mechanical. If it's something like maybe the shock's going out, losing the clutch, losing brakes. That's not typical of Adam McGill, and I know his conditioning level is up there with any of these guys on Pro Row.
Yeah, you got to think something's definitely happened to McGill out there, like you said. That's not something you're used to seeing him get up there in front and then drop 4 positions like that. Then again, Bryson Neal's out there doing work. And but I don't know. You think of the track here. As you get a good look at those routes I was about to touch on, I don't think those affects the ATVs quite like the bikes. But I mean, it's been a pretty clean race for our XC1, our XC2 riders.
Yeah, if you remember last year, Chris Borch and Bryson Neal put on the show at the Cannonball GNCC. Borch ended up crossing the finish line just 1 second ahead of Neal last year, if you remember. But, man, it looks like Neal is in it for redemption here today. Dominated both rounds here last year and actually took the win last year with Chris Borch in 2nd, Bryson Neal in 3rd. Adam McGill was 4th and Jared McClure in 5th. Go ahead, update.
Wheel to wheel going at it in the woods. Coming out to the 7.
10-4 Hollywood. Watching at the
2nd back is McClure.
Awesome. All righty, that's out near the 7, you say?
Roger that.
So out near that 7-mile marker, I'm going to give you the stats from last year, results from last year. Fowler, Borch, Neal, McGill, McClure. Right now, we look at the results the way they stand right now. Neal, Fowler, Porch, McClure, McGill. So same 5 guys, just a little different running order right now, rolling toward the finish line. 2 hours now and approaching 4 minutes into this race. There's Neal out now at near that 7-mile marker. Look at him rolling, man. He is, I mean, not fading any whatsoever. Not even looking behind him. Look at that. Fowler in second. Walk, man, Chris Porch is all over that rear wheel and the suspension, and that grab bar, I guess is the word that I'm trying to get out there, of Walker Fowler right now. And in and out of some of these turns, man, it makes you wonder, what's it going to be like when they get into these last final AMSOIL chicanes? If they're that tight, wow, this could really, really erupt into something pretty huge.
Yeah, I thought Bryson Neal had a larger lead, but then you got the shot there. He's just still pretty darn good lead, but man, they're on his heels. But the battle right now looks like it's between that number 2 and number 3 spot.
Undaunted whatsoever, never even looked back, never even cared what was going on behind him. Bryson Neal, head down, focus forward, moving hard. And like I said earlier, riding rails, man. They're riding rails around this racetrack. I'll be interested to see just exactly how much time that Bryson Neal has shaved off this. If Neal had not picked up this pace, we'd be in the 2-hour, 20-minute, maybe a little longer lap time. I'm saying we're going to be a little quicker than that, simply because Bryson Neal has taken control of this race today and picked the pace up quite a bit here in these final 2 laps. So just to give you a heads up, it is Landon Wolf now in the number 6 spot. Aboard the number 7, Tucker Wyatt is up to 7th. Johnny Gallagher in 8th. Josh Merritt drops from 6th back to 9th. And top rookie today, Marty Christopherson, the number 8, rounds out your top 10 there in the XC1 Pro class. XC2 Pro-Am, just real quick, 18 minutes for these guys are due in. Still Hart, Feehan, Covert, Lindell, Eichert, your top 5 there. Austin Abney is now 6th. Cameron Bruce in 7th. Sam Ho in 8th. Levi Cohen up to 9th. Bryson Hobbs rounds out your top 10. There's Adam McGill now. As we told you, he dropped back to a number 5 position at last checking calculations. And looks like that he may have gone into salvage mode at this point. And I got to wonder, you know, I figured and thought that Adam was physically as well. I know he's always mentally ready, and I figured he was physically ready, but I got to wonder, is it physical? Is it mechanical? Was it mental? Did he do something out there to make that mistake that dropped him back and kept dropping him back, and he hasn't been able to get out of the head? Because oftentimes Adam McGill can be his own worst enemy out there on the racetrack. If he makes one little mistake, he compounds that sometimes by going over it and replaying it in his head. And I would have to think that he's learned some lessons from doing that in the past, and that's not what he's doing here today. But we'll hopefully get a little bit of an answer on that one coming up shortly after today's race. 2 hours, 6.5 minutes, and still 10.5 minutes left to go. So that's going to put us at about, what, 10 hours and 17 minutes, I think. Or 10 hours. 2 hours and 17 minutes. Thinking about my drive down here.
Yeah, right. There you go.
So 2 hours and 17 minutes as these riders continue to motor along. And I think that's pretty neat whenever you can see the consistency of those top 5 riders. But what's even better than the consistency is the fact that they're mixing it up, and these guys don't come out and race the same race and finish the same way each and every round. You know, I think Walker's probably going to be very dissatisfied with me and not very happy with me. I had a talk with him last night. And I told him, I said, Walker, you're making it boring, buddy. Just make it a little bit exciting. I said, I don't care if you win, but make it exciting. Yeah. Maybe that's what he's doing.
It could be.
I don't think that's the case, because Walker, he just kind of smirked and said, I like it like that. So, but I told him, I said, if something happens, you don't get a start, you're going to blame this one on me. And so I can imagine I'm going to get an earful here a little later on. But regardless, I don't think I had anything to do with it. It has certainly set the stage for a great stage. Now listen to this. Here's another thing. Chelsea Taylor was going around with the first place trophy today, taking pictures with different pros up and down. There's Bryson Neal making his way around there. Fowler may have gotten around him there. Let's see. No, that's not Fowler.
I think it was it?
No, that was not Fowler. Or was it?
I think it was.
Man, that didn't look like Walker. but maybe he has.
Well, we're not used to seeing that much dirt and mud on the front of that ATV.
That might be exactly what it was, the mud covering that up. That might have been, yeah, I believe it is Walker Fowler. And there's the excitement I asked for.
My goodness.
Somebody give that boy a $20 bill for doing what I asked him to do out there today, man. Now, regardless, it ain't over yet, folks. This is still up in the air. It's still up for grabs, and we still haven't got the official detail on that, but we may have a bit of a change out there. Walker Fowler could have done it, and that's not going to surprise anybody because he's old school, man. He comes from the old school ways. He's a new era boy with old school ways. He comes through the ranks. He traveled and he worked with Bill Balance. He watched Chris Borch and those boys do their mind games and play those games. He's worked with Barry Hawk over the last few years on and off, you know, and talking. Barry's given him a lot of intel and information. So in doing...
Trailer XC2 going past the 7.
So we're wheel to wheel back on that one as we continue to wait with bated breath. There they are, 7-mile marker. That's XC2. Check this battle out going on right now. Hunter Hart is still out front, but Devin Feehan is right there. Takes a 28-second gap, cuts it down to Neal. I would say it would have to be maybe a second if that is these guys. Okay, 10-4 on that one, Jeff. So Jeff's gonna make sure he's got us a good radio update coming in on that next one. But look at that, Feehan and Hart coming out of that wasteland section, as they call it over there. Hunter still got the advantage, but man, there's some good passing opportunities, it looks like, between there and the next camera shot. So we're gonna have to wait and see what just exactly is going to happen here. I thought we had a shot of our leader there for a second, and then all of a sudden we lost that. We went back away from that. I'm trying to see whether or not Bryson Neal, there's McGill making his way around right now, but we're still looking for those leaders. Look at that, giving them the flex. Use that muscle, brother. So it'll be another 4 minutes or so before we'll be taking a look at those leaders. So, well, there, as we were talking earlier about the trophy, I was mentioning the trophy a few moments ago. I was watching while I was doing Pro Pit interviews. Chelsea Taylor was walking around with this very nice first place overall trophy, and she was taking some pictures with different riders and stuff with it just to give. Well, I was standing there with Chris Borch whenever he took it. He was like, he just kind of lit up and he says, man, he goes, that feels good. And he talked about how cool the trophies was and how hard it's not been winning because of the cool trophies that Racer Productions is now presenting to these riders and stuff for their overall wins. And then she went down to the next pit, a couple pits down, tried to hand it to Walker Fowler, said, nope, not going to touch it. He says, I'm superstitious. He says, I'm not touching that before the race. He says, if I do, he says, I surely am going to have trouble today. So regardless if superstition or not, I don't know, but we're 10-4. I hear you loud and clear right now, Jeff Russell. So we're getting the set up for our updates coming up here. And we are watching this finish line. Now, what are we looking at points coming in this? And Bryson Neal, 14 points down from Walker Fowler. Now, if he can beat Fowler, he's going to gain 5 points. That's going to put a 9-point difference between the two. And if Walker ends up winning this, that's going to add another 5 points. So that means it's going to be a 19-point difference between first and second place. So in reality, a win here for Bryson Neal could not only boost his confidence, but also put him in a position to be a real super challenge for the national championship here in 2017. And I know that's what he's banking for and what he's hoping to be able to achieve. Mercy, you can hear him coming. There's some battles going on. 11 minutes, 20 seconds for our XC2 Pro-Am class. Go ahead, update.
Number 1 with a big lead. Wow. Nobody in sight.
Wow. Wow. What happened there? Thank you, Jeff Russell. Number 1 with a big lead. Nobody in sight. They say, where is Bryson Neal? Now we might come into the end of this race. There is Walker Fowler. Look at that, man. There we see. Jared McClure is taking over the number 2.
Neal and Borch have got a battle for fourth for the last 30th.
Wow, Jeff, what happened do you think that caused that to change like that?
got no idea unless Neil tried to make a move on Fowler and maybe got tangled up and let him get by or whatever. But now McClure got up there in second, and Borich, Lord knows that'll be good to hear.
No doubt. Thanks for the update, Jeff Russell. There's the battle on the screen right now. There.
Coming into the fifth. Wow.
Wow. Look at that. And Borich making the pass. Borich making the pass back on Bryson.
You made it. If you get that.
10-4, we caught that as the number 1, Walker Fowler, makes his way down pro row right now, going for win number 3. Bryson Neal just saw himself slip off the podium, I believe. And then, of course, the number 3 of Chris Borich just secured the number 3 position. Again, the snake, the cobra, if you will, into the number 2 spot, all the way back from 5th place. There he is going down pro row right now. The sneaky snake, if you will, does it once again, rears up like a cobra into the number 2 spot, and I'm sure he is feeling good right now. But the real battle back for the number 3 spot. There goes the number 3 of Chris Borich and the number 5 of Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal certainly getting a schooling here today from these veteran pro riders, and you would think that maybe Bryson's a veteran. He's still a little bit green behind the ears, so to speak, or a little wet behind the ears, as they say. But, man, folks are running in droves right now toward the finish line. They want to see the finish of this race. They want to be there to congratulate Walker Fowler on this spectacular win. They want to be there to congratulate Jared McClure on that amazing 2nd place. And how about it for Chris Borich and Bryson Neal right now? We're still loads away from knowing what's going to happen right there. Waiting right now. Talk about nerve-wracking. Talk about heart-pounding. Fans are on the edge of their toes right now, standing up at the edge of this racetrack, just waiting for a glimpse of these leaders to make their way into the finish line. And if you can see our finish line right now, you can see that there are droves of people coming in. And they're coming in one by one. They're going to be filling this area up here pretty soon, as everybody is anticipating one of the most spectacular finishes we've seen in GNCC so far here in 2017. This could be the first of many, as this 43rd annual AMSOIL GNCC series is just starting to heat up as far as this championship is concerned, Fritz. This is a great day in the GNCC racing nation. Continuing to watch right now. How much longer before we should see these riders? Less than a minute before we should see Walker Fowler's presence being felt here in the AMSOIL chicane region of this racetrack. Again, if you could just see these fans rolling into the finish line by the droves, coming out of the woods, coming out of the pits, everywhere you can think. There's Walker Fowler now making his way around to the cheers of the crowd. The final and closing moments of this Max's Cannonball GNCC. And here he is, folks. 3 wins in a row. Your 2-time champion, Walker Fowler. 2 years in a row right here at the Max's Cannonball GNCC. But now back to the number 2 spot. It is the number 4 of the snake. Sneaky snake, call him the cobra, whatever you want to call it. He is going to make his way around, it looks like, into that number 2 spot, as the fans are really excited for that. And here comes Chris Borich by himself. What talk about a day. McClure is 2nd. 3rd place again is Chris Borich. 4th place is the number 5 of Bryson Neal, whom we thought was going to get his first win today, but he comes across in 4th place. My friends, I'm telling you, if you missed this race today firsthand, I hope that you're able to catch it here on RacerTV.com. If you didn't catch it all, back up, my friends. There are 2 hours and 15 minutes of racing there that you do not want to miss. 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 35 seconds from the drop of the green flag to the drop of the checkers here in this ATV race at the Max's Cannonball GNCC. What a day, folks. Smiles everywhere on the race fans. You can see the excitement in the air. You can feel it in the air, as everybody knows that every rider out there today laid everything they had on that racetrack. They left it laying out there, my friends. They gave us the show we came to see. GNCC, and they put out the work that they have been working so hard to try and show the racers, the other racers on the racetrack, and the race fans, and the entire industry and GNCC Racing Nation of what they're made of and how hungry they are for this 2017 championship. Fowler, McClure, Borich, 1, 2, and 3. Bryson Neal in the number 4 spot, and we're waiting still on 5th place, and unfortunately, misfortune for Adam McGill, who got the whole shot, led the first 2 laps of this race, and we have watched him gently fade back for the last lap and a half or so, and in doing so, he has really gotten way off pace. He had a 2-minute and 18-second buffer back to the 6th place position of Landon Wolf. We'll see whether or not he was able to use that buffer and hold on to a top 5 or not. And I can tell you right now, top 5 finishes are going to be critical. They're going to be crucial here. A top 5 finish in GNCC in 2017 can still yield championships, I believe. And I think we saw today that the field is starting to thicken. And round 4, when we roll into the Steel Creek GNCC in just a couple of weeks, is going to have a great stage set for another amazing and epic battle of racing as we watch Walker Fowler there now cleaning himself up after that one. I got to tell you, he must have been happy after those first 2 rounds of racing win, but he's got to be overjoyed at being able to come from behind and win this one like he did today. Still no sign of a 5th place position finish in the XC1 Pro class. We got a battle for the XC2. We're at the 11-mile marker. XC2 wheel-to-wheel still. Devin Feehan and Hunter Hart are battling it down to the wire. Hunter Hart still in the lead as they went into the woods there. Of course, that one really heated up about 3/4 of this lap ago in this final lap, and we got another barn burner going on right there. Walker Fowler, look at him, and man, just chiseled physical fitness there. You can see dug deep out there. They got faster, man. We talk about a show. These riders put on a show today. And we're seeing another show going on behind him in the XC2 Pro-Am class. We'll be going over to the podium here in just a couple of moments. But, friends, Hunter Hart and Devin Feehan themselves have laid it all out here on the racetrack today. And they're laying it out here for the race fans. They're laying it out here for the championship in this XC2 Pro-Am class. And if nothing else, they're laying it out for the pride of it all. Greg Covert back to the number 3 spot, but he's not been much of a factor in this battle for 1st and 2nd over the last, say, 20 minutes or so. It has really heated up, and it's gotten even tighter and tighter. Oh, looking at maybe possibly a mechanical issue for Neal. Is that why we saw him fade back so far? There's his mechanic looking at the front right swing arm, maybe the spindle or something there. That could tell a lot of reasons as to why. Bryson Neal, as upset as he looks, does not look angered, so he looks more disappointed than anything. So it could have been mechanical failure there, or could have been maybe clip the tree out there and cause some problems. But, man, that kid right there, I tell you, if anybody's going to get a win, he has got to be one that is in line to make that happen right now. Kid is just a picture of GNCC is all about. Even smiling after going through all that right there, my friends. Bryson Neal is going to be a major force to be reckoned with here from this point forward. Not that he hasn't before, but it's a new life for Bryson Neal in this new era of GNCC racing, and he's riding the wave with it, folks. There goes Emily Wise from the College B class, by the way, the 419 machine. But you can see just a casual talk. He's just, and it sounds like he's telling them what happened out there. So obviously it'd be nice to get the full scoop on that one to know for sure what's going on. Maybe we can get Mikey down there here in just a moment. He can go down and talk to Bryson and find out for sure. But wow, we'll be heading over to the podium. That's probably where he's at right now, actually. But we're about 1 minute and 41 seconds, still out, minute and 30 seconds or so out from seeing Hunter Hart and Devin Feehan or one of the other back, depending on who's up front, come through to claim the win in the XC2 Pro-Am class. This one's still too close to call. There's Johnny Gallagher making his way in now. You see folks just coming over and congratulating Bryson and telling him good job and kudos. And Bryson, I'm sure at the same time, has got that rock in his belly that he knows that it was right there. It was within reach, well within reach, but It's not over till it's over, folks, and that right there is a point to prove that. And that's what GNCC Racing's all about. And there's Hunter Hart. There's Devin Feehan, the 17 and 16, making their way through the final chicane now. And it looks like Hunter Hart may do it. Hunter Hart going to pull this one off. He had a little bit of trouble himself in the early part of it, I believe. It's at least dropping back a position or two, but was able to get around those guys. Gapped him by 1 minute and 6 seconds. He saw a 30-second lead shape down to that right there, nose to tail through the finish line, as Devin Feehan gives him a little love tap as they make the checkers there. 0.578 was the deficit between first and second in that XC2 Pro-Am class. We're still waiting on Greg Covert, probably be about a minute or so back as we see our NBC Sports TV crew there. Big Brad Jones getting the interview with the Snake himself, Jared McClure. You'll see that on NBC Sports. By the way, I believe that our first showing should be a week from this. We'll get you the schedule here pretty soon, but I think it's within the next week or so. Hunter Hart giving the number 1 there. Congratulations to you, buddy. Devin Feehan, good ride, man. Great come from behind ride there. 36.09 for Hunter Hart, 35.42 for Devin Feehan that last time around. By the way, they raced 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 21 seconds. So they even had a little bit longer race, I think, than, well, that's the total elapsed time. So there was about 7 minutes or so that kind of separated the first place guy and the XC1 first place guys in the XC2 class. But wow, what a day, man. I mean, you could not have scripted this race day any better than what you did right there, what we saw unfold before our very eyes. You know, you have a lot of hopes, you have a lot of anticipations of what the race day is going to bring, and you never really know. But when it brings a day like what we saw here today, man, it makes you want to just keep coming back for more. It makes you want to load up and head out to the next race, which will be, again, in Morganton, North Carolina, 2 weeks from now. Log on to GNCCRacing.com. Fans, if you're anywhere close by, make sure you get there. If you're a rider or racer, come be a part of the action right there. Neil hit a tree. This is the word that we're getting from NBC Sports TV crew right now. Bryson Neal hit a tree and ended up on his side. So that was, we saw him looking at that spindle, probably a bent front tire or something there. But the up ended on the side, that took him back. And man, that right there closed, this changed the whole face of that man. You see a big smile on Chris Borges' face because he worked his tail off today to get that position, and that was a well-deserved third place. When you get a third place like that, you got to be proud of it. Even though you may want the win, a third place on a day like today is as good as a win sometimes, especially when you got to fight the adversities that you got to fight sometimes, like what we saw these guys fighting out there. But what a day. Again, it is Walker Fowler, Jared McClure, Chris Borch, 1, 2, and 3. I know our scroll across the bottom of the screen there is a little bit off, but we are looking at Fowler, McClure, and Borch, Neal, McGill. That's your top 5. Landon Wolf in 6th. Tucker Wyatt 7th. Johnny Gallagher 8th. 9th was Josh Merritt, Marty Christopherson rounding out the top 10. That was in the XC1 class. Now, as far as overall is concerned, we see basically the same thing down through 7th place. Looks like another best race so far by Tucker Wyatt as he finishes 7th today aboard the 816. Way to go, Tucker Wyatt. Hunter Hart finished 8th overall. Devin Feehan 9th overall. And how about this? Johnny Gallagher 8th in the XC1 Pro class. Johnny Gallagher gets 10th place overall today. Johnny GNCC, baby. Way to go, buddy. Glad to know that. And, of course, we'll be joined by Johnny Gallagher tomorrow right here at RacerTV.com and GNCC Live, because he does double duty. Races one day, comes and helps us in the TV booth the next day, and he always gives us some pretty insightful information. I think he's going to have some pretty good stories to tell after this one. So tune in tomorrow if you're an ATV racing fan. Speaking of motorcycle racing fans, there's TB5, Trevor Bollinger, as he's waiting to watch the podium presentations. Lane Michael, that is there on the left. Lane McCormick, yeah, I was going to say that. Lane, I was getting some information fed to me, but that's Lane McCormick. That is the son of Alicia McCormick, who won the WXC and the defending WXC champion from 2016. That's him there in the shot right now. So everybody down here to congratulate and cheer on these guys and thank them, if nothing else, for a great day of racing, man. That one kept us on the edge of our seats all day long. If I would have had time to bite my nails from all the talking that I did, I would probably be up to my second knuckles about right now. And that's just how great of a race it was. A real nail-biter one that kept us definitely the adrenaline flowing all day long. Smiles by all the competitors. Now, one competitor that might not be so smiley today will be Adam McGill. He did check in on the number 5 position, and he was 2 minutes 28 seconds behind. There goes Chris Borich up to the podium right now as he gets set to talk to Mikey Waynes here in just a few moments. He moves into position. Beautiful trees. You see the leaves beginning to bud out here in this first weekend of spring 2017. A little bit of greenery around, but not a whole lot. You can just see the trees starting to take shape and start to take that beautiful spring green color around the area. Man, I tell you, we hit the money as far as a weather weekend on today's race day. A little warm, sunshine, a little cloudy every once in a while, but overall a perfect race day here in beautiful Georgia. The former champ and the champ shaking hands there, Chris Borich, and of course our winner today, Walker Fowler, going over some racing there. And got to hand it to, how about it for Sneaky Steak, man? That guy right there, he got his name for a reason. And he lays in wait and strikes like a cobra whenever you least expect it. And it brought him all the way up to second place today. It'll be good to get the story on that one. It'll be good to get the story on the Walker Fowler, how he got the first place. But we do know that Bryson Neal hit a tree at one point, upended on his side, and that's kind of where everything got all flipped around, and that's where everything changed, man. And get this, man. The race would have ended at 2 hours. That might not have happened, but I'll tell you, that's the nature of GNCC. You got to go from start to finish, and that's the beauty of this race here today. We got a first look at just a little bit of an extended race and an extended battle, and it really gave us everything we were wanting, everything we were looking for. I guess the next question I have, when can we start sending these guys out for a 3-hour race like the two-wheel guys on Sunday? They're going to probably punch me for saying that, but that's all right, man. I tell you, the action we saw there today certainly kept us, like I said, excited all day long. So we're going to head down to the podium here in just a moment, as I know Mikey's getting things ready, and we're going to congratulate these guys. And Walker, you can see, is in pretty good spirits knowing things happen. I think that Jared's kind of still maybe in a little bit of disbelief of his own at this particular point.
All right, Rodney Tomlin, thank you, brother. We are ready down here on the podium, so we're going to get things underway. Before I get started, I want the race fans to give it up for your top 3 riders in probably the best race this season. So, race fans, GNCC Racing Nation, I'm up here with Chris Borich. Chris, man, talk to me. I normally have some questions in line. This is your guys' story, so tell us that story behind this finish today.
Yeah, it was a great battle out there. We got off to a good start. I think Adam got in the lead. I was sitting second, and first 2 laps Adam led, and it was a decent pace. He was just kind of creeping through the tight stuff, and we seen everybody bunch up there, and then. Third lap, Bryson Neal was able to get by and kind of stepped up the pace a little bit. Walker passed us, and then I ended up getting past McGill, and basically just the 3-4 of us were just rolling there, and I made just a little bobble at the end there, went around a mud hole jump, and just hit a tree as well, and then Jared McClure ended up getting past me, and then I caught up to Bryson Neal. I think he ended up clobbering a tree because no front brakes. But all in all, it was a good day. It was a great just battling with these guys right up here till the finish.
Well, man, heck of a job out there. Like I was saying, this was probably, from the fans' perspective, this was the most entertaining one we've had all year. So on behalf of the Racing Nation, thank you. Who are your sponsors and folks you want to thank today?
Yeah, definitely my mom and my dad. My wife, Dawn, she's been awesome there for me. She does pretty much everything for me and makes it easy so I can do what I need to do. John my mechanic, he came down to Florida for a couple weeks. Can't thank him enough. He put a lot of hours in this, and we did a lot of testing, so it's been pretty awesome. So fans, friends, my brother, Steve, Daryl, Sheep, Bruce, I mean, everybody that came down, my buddy Paul from Wales. Also, I can't thank enough. Maxxis tires were hooking up awesome out there. Wiseco, CV4, Scott, Renthal, Forworks, Serbies, Yield Cycle, Brian McCormick, and Alicia. They're an awesome. They got a shop there right by us and helps us out. SSI decals, keeping this thing look fresh. Fox Shocks, VP Fuels, Twin Air, Tire Balls, Evans Coolant, Quad Tech, OIP, Goldspeed, new sponsor this year with wheels, working awesome. And can't complain there. Track, Hinton, Precision, IQ, Walsh Racecraft with A-arm components and stuff, HMF, AMSOIL, Fly Racing, guys that fly, bringing their new gear out. Can't, like I said, can't thank those guys enough for the awesome gear and the support. Showy and just the fans out there and everybody else, thank you.
All right, there you go, race fans. Everybody give it up for third place finisher Chris Borich. All right, work my way down the podium here. Wow, Jared McClure. I was telling Chris, normally I line up a few questions, ask you guys. No, this was your race. You tell us, man, how were you able to get up here into second today?
Really didn't happen to the last lap. I was coming from the back all day, caught the lead group, and then, kind of fell in line with them after we pitted. The pace kind of picked up. They pulled a little, some parts seemed like they'd yank me, and then on this side over here, I'd kind of reel them back in a little bit on some of the tighter stuff. But like I said, last lap there, Chris had an issue coming up the one hill there with a rock. He got stuck or something. I was able to sneak by him, and then, like he said, Bryson was on his side when I got to him over here. It looked like he just kind of clipped a tree or something, got around him, and from there, there was only 2 miles. I just rode smooth and made it happen.
Well, man, heck of a job. Like I was saying earlier, on behalf of the fans, thank you. It was the entertaining one. Who are your sponsors and folks you want to thank out there today?
I want to thank the JMR crew here today. My buddy Robbie giving me gas, Ricky, my buddy Coyote out in the woods helping out. Definitely got to thank all them guys. My teammate Randy coming all the races with me. My mom and dad back home. Hopefully they get to a race soon. My girlfriend Sierra, she couldn't be here either. Bowers Motorcycle. John, him and his dad always been behind me building my motors, helping me out, whatever I need. Harlan, ATVriders.com, big supporter. Elka Suspension, have some help dialing them in with Jay Goebel, Impact Solutions. Bike worked awesome today, feeling good right to the end. It paid off. DWT Tires and Wheels, HMF Exhaust, Spider Graphics, Baldwin Motors, KG Power Sports, Dirtworks, Quad Tech, Motorcycle, Works Connection, Bell Helmets, Moose Racing, Sunstar Sprockets, Power Mad, Wiseco, DP Brakes, IMS, Motion Pro, Dark Star MX, and just thanks to everybody for cheering for me. It was awesome coming through, everybody with the fists in the air, and I almost stopped coming down Pro Row. I thought something was wrong. Everybody was yelling at me.
All right, race fans, everybody give it up for second place finisher Jared McClure. Get up there, brother. Get up there. Race fans, can we hear it for Walker Fowler? Now, I'm going to let you talk about racing, but first, I heard a rumor while we were doing the broadcast that you wouldn't touch the trophy. What's that about, brother?
I'm not touching this thing until after the race. If I earn it, I'll touch it. But other than that, I want nothing to do with this thing.
Well, hey, you earned this one. My goodness, man. You had your work cut out for us. Walk us through it.
Yeah, these boys are riding good today. The first 2 races, I kind of did my own thing, seemed pretty dominating. Absolutely not the case today. Everyone showed up to race, and they caught me a little off guard. I'm not going to lie. I've not been feeling 100%, but, no excuses. We hit the trail, and I just kept making mistakes, hitting trees, had a uncommon 5th place start, and even Landon Wolf was up there riding really good the first couple, most of the first lap. Couldn't run with him. And then Adam backed it down a little bit, thank goodness. And I was able to kind of catch back up there riding around in 3rd. And, I just kept hearing something. It was like Wile E. Coyote behind me. I look back, it's Bryson Neal. It's like, man, I don't know how this guy makes these passes, but I got to see it firsthand. He come around me like I was sitting still, and he made quick work of them boys up front, and he was moving. I was genuinely a little nervous and kept making mistakes. Hit a tree. Jared got to see it, did a nice little flying W, and about my clutch levers all bent down, and I ended up I bent a front brake rudder. Didn't have any front brakes after about the first hour. I was like, well, this day's over, and I kind of gave up there, and I don't know what happened. Everyone was like, what are you doing? You suck. But we got it together, and man, it was just if you'd have told me that's how this day was going to go, I had said there was no way, but it just seemed like everything started clicking. Got some had some fortunate luck, made up a lot of time. Not sure if someone made a mistake and I was able to make it up, but like I said, Bryson was just absolutely on fire, and Jared had caught me and was starting to push me a little bit, and that kind of got me going. And second lap, I had seen there was this little creek section. It was about the only place that had water on the whole property, and I was like, I think I can jump that. And one of my crew guys, Devin Ferguson, saw me looking at it, and he he gave me a pit board that said, it's good, do it. So I come through there the third lap, and that's where I got Chris and Adam. I was like, all right, that worked out pretty sweet. Let's try this again. And I wanted to have the lead before that on the last lap, but like I said, Bryson was riding awesome. Chris was pushing me super hard, kept making some mistakes, stalling the bike, and it was just everything I could do with no front brakes, especially in the field sections, to stay in front of probably the best guy to ever ride a field in his life, or any rider ever. It was a struggle, but that last lap, we come down to the creek jump section, and apparently that little jump had got burned in, and we just went for another line right next to it, and it was not pretty. Faced in, about knocked myself out, but we got the pass and held on, looked back, and I'm alone, and other than that, we hit the field section. I see Jared. I'm like, holy cow, what is happening? Where is everyone at? And I don't know. That was wild. I hope everyone had a good time watching it. Fans were awesome out there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a heck of a story, man. I love it. I love it. So sponsors and folks you want to thank today?
Definitely got to give the glory to God first and foremost. Thank you for watching over me and all of us and let us do this awesome sport that we get to do. My man Mark Notman, I'm sorry I create more work for you every weekend, but we, our buggy race, we bent a frame, so we got a lot of work to do at home, but we're going to get that all squared away, as well as the four-wheelers. And definitely the whole WFR Yamaha Maxxis Fly Racing, all the guys that fly. This whole team is just incredible. This bike is absolutely phenomenal this year. And, I got to stay one step ahead to these. Like I said, I knew it was coming. I knew these guys were going to find what they needed to find to keep up with us. And I sure don't like these close races. So I need to find another gear and try to go back to how I like to do it. But definitely the whole FMF, all the guys there, Moto Experts, Toby Reed, Lone Star, Fast, FMF. Well, there's FMF twice. Oh, well. FMF's awesome, so that's cool. Hinson, Alpine Stars, these riding boots are awesome. Gold Speed wheels, tire balls. Thank goodness we had tire balls out there, a lot of square edge roots and stuff. Cycra CV4 Works Connection anti-gravity batteries, Fox suspension, Maxima oils, Atlas Precision DP brakes. My man Larry, thank you so much. Moto Seat, Vortex ignitions, GYTR Fuel Customs, webcams. That was the secret to our first couple starts, and the bike is running awesome. I just was sleeping on the line, so thank you, Webb. It's my fault this time. VP Racing Fuels, man, does that stuff smell good? I know. Usually when we come to the track, we bring some empty gas cans, so if you want some cool memorabilia, look us up on Friday. We have empty VP cans that we're giving out. Fuel Customs, Carbosport, thank goodness for Carbosport, Human Race Fuel, IMS, Scott Goggles, Hill International Trucks, Intense Fab, D&V Trucking, my man Paul Turner, thank you for doing our harnesses and watching. Graphic Works Indy, making this bike look good. ODI, Waynesburg Yamaha, all these awesome fans. Thank you so much again. I hope that was as fun to watch as it was to ride. And definitely, like I said, all these guys keeping the racing clean, keeping it fun, and definitely keeping it exciting. Thank you guys so much.
There you go, race fans. Give it up for first place finisher, Walker Fowler.
Well, folks, while we reset the podium and get ready for our XC2 Pro-Am celebrations, well, here in just a moment, of course, right now we've got
I think the spoils of victory that we always like to celebrate here at GNCC. Of course, as we always like to say in GNCC, and it looks like we got a lot of swag getting ready to be thrown out as well. But, of course, as we always say, to the victor goes the spoils, and the spoils of GNCC, the sweet, sweet spray of champagne. Walker Fowler takes the win. McLaurin second, Borch in third, Neal in fourth, Adam McGill rounds out the top 5. GNCC Live continues after this.
Evans waterless coolant is the solution to boiling over, so you can push your vehicle like this, and this, and this, without fearing the temperature gauge. Evans waterless coolant. Defeat the heat.
Hey guys, I'm Tim Geiser riding for Honda Garibaldi Racing Team, and we are using Evans cooling, and I know that when I use that products, I know that my bike never will overheat, so I'm really happy with it.
Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With a solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
And welcome back to GNCC Live as the celebrations for our XC1 class continues, as the swag bags, I believe, are finally coming to an empty point there. And now it's time for a high five, a handshake, a big smile to the race fans. That's the kind of racers we have here in GNCC, folks. Very personable type people, there's no doubt. And they're going to go back to their pits and get things squared away. I myself am going to be hooking up with Walker Fowler for an interview here that you'll be able to witness on Facebook here in the next few days. So be watching for that. But nonetheless, it's going to be pretty interesting. You get that? Did he give that to you? Second place trophy given to the race fans there. I think that's some pretty cool stuff, no doubt about that. But, folks, what a day. What a day so far we have witnessed here in Georgia, our second time ever at this particular venue itself. And though the changes were different on the calendar, the one thing that wasn't different was the intensity of the battle that took place here. And, you couldn't ask for probably a more fitting place than the soils of Georgia for great battles like this to take place as they waged their war on 4 wheels today in the XC1 and XC2 Pro-Am class, as well as our many other amateur classes today. And, of course, in our XC2 Pro-Am class, what another war waged there. We talked about that. We caught glimpses of it several times today. Hunter Hart at one point as far back as 4th place, if memory serves me correct, there on the first lap. Cameron Bruce, the 427, who had gotten the early lead in the whole shot, leading there on the first lap. And then things just kind of changing as the day went on in that XC2 Pro-Am class. Before you knew it, Hunter Hart was 1 minute and 6 seconds ahead of everybody out there. Then it was 28 seconds ahead of Fehan, and then it was wheel to wheel when they came to the finish line there a few moments ago. As you saw there on the video, if you were watching RacerTV.com, some very calming and relaxing sights of this particular property, the Hill family farm. And, of course, with that, we do want to say thanks to the Hill family. And I get a kick out of it because reading the address, it's Sam Hill Road. And you always ask the question when I was a kid, what in the Sam Hill's going on here? So, well, I'll tell you what in the Sam Hill's going on. GNCC today, my friends. And it looks like our XC2 Pro-Am is ready as we head down to the podium one more time with Mikey Waynes.
Well, thank you, Rodney Tomlin. Race fans, can we hear it one time for our XT2 Top 3? All right, so I'm going to kick things off here. 3rd place finisher here today, Greg Covert. I almost said Cohert. Covert, like covert operation. Nothing covert about getting on here on the podium, man. Talk to us about the race today.
Got off to a pretty good start. It's probably like 6th or 7th, and I found myself behind Fehan there. And we kept pushing, making some passes, and it was us 3 right after the first lap, and me and Fehan went back and forth a little bit. I was feeling pretty good. Hunter kind of got away from us there, and Fehan pitted for gas. I got around him, and then I pitted, and he got around me, and I just couldn't keep up with them today, man. These kids are really fast, and they're training harder than I am, obviously. But I'm happy to be on the box. I got 5th in Florida, so coming up here and getting 3rd, I'm happy with it. Not satisfied yet, but we're going to keep on working hard and keep on getting better and come back swinging next time.
Well, good work, man. Wait to, like you say, work hard and that continual progress. Who helps you out here? What are your sponsors and folks that help you?
Oh, my mom and dad, the Smith family, Lily, my brother, is a big supporter in the garage and stuff, helped me work on my quad. High gear suspension was working pretty good today. Waynesburg Yamaha, Moto Experts, Ori Grips, Braptec, Spider Graphics, Fly Racing, Moto Experts. Ooh, what else we got here? IMS, Scott Goggles, Hauser Racing, Circa, FMF, and Goldspeed. Don't want to forget about them. That's about it.
There you go, race fans. Everybody give it up for 3rd place finisher today, Greg Covert. All right, Devin Feehan. Devin, man, heck of a race for you today. Talk to me, brother. You up here on the podium again, 2nd place. Feel pretty good about how the race went for you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was definitely a lot of fun, probably the most fun I've had in a long time. Me and Greg, we just went back and forth, like he said, and then, I saw the pit board. I was down quite a bit from Hunter, so I knew I had to charge, and, I just put my head down and caught him, but, we went right at it to the finish, so it was awesome.
Well, hey, man, Frank, thanks for the enjoyment from the fans' perspective. Who are your sponsors and people you'd like to thank today?
First off, I'd like to thank my mom and dad and my brothers, my girlfriend, all my friends that comes down, and Tire Spine, Spider Graphics, RJR, Vanilla Gorilla, DP Brakes, High Gear Suspension, Binghamton Honda, MR Unlimited, Quad Tech, GBC, Hinson, Dirtworks, Liat, Hauser, Fast Company, Sycra, Scott, Renthal, Garnet, Precision, CV4, Glenn, and Dassa.
There you go, race fans. Give it up for 2nd place finisher, Devin Feehan. And, man, talk about earning it. You guys, you didn't make it easy today. Hunter Hart, 1st place finish. Man, what did it take to get you up here at the top of the podium?
Man, it took months and months of training, and just had to find my groove. Those first 2 races, thought we'd get it in South Carolina, then we were close, and then Florida we were close, and then today we were able to put all the pieces together, which was awesome.
It's got to feel good to be up here, yeah?
Oh, yeah, it's always good to be up here. I mean, even 2nd or 3rd's good, but up here, right here is perfect.
Well, we like seeing you up here, man. You definitely earned this one today. Who are your sponsors and people that help make it happen for you?
Definitely God for keeping me safe all day. Ithaca Recreation Sports, my mom, my dad, Michael Vandelinder, my girlfriend Courtney, Maxxis Tires for putting this Alaska power to the ground, Fox Shocks, Carb Sport, Quad Tech, HMF, IQ, Scott Goggles, B&R, Fox Clothing, DP Brakes, Hauser Racing, Seat Concept, Spider Graphics, Evans Coolant, Motor X, Muddy Cotton, Storm Peak CrossFit, Reed Logging. Anthony and Wyatt are out there somewhere. They let me stay up at their house this week and ride on that nice red George Clay, and that was awesome, and Parmenter retreads. And then one more thing, Jesse Ansley, it's your turn tomorrow, bud.
Uh-oh. All right, getting the shout out there. All right, race fans, everybody give it up for 1st place finisher, Hunter Hart.
All right. Well, congratulations. And we finally get these XC2 Pro-Am guys on the podium here for you. And I know a lot of people have been anticipating that. Congratulations, Hunter Hart, and as well Devin Feehan and Greg Covart. We just say congratulations to you. And thanks to you guys again for as well putting a very exciting battle and exciting race on for us here to witness and watch. And again, looks like we got a whole shot award that we're going to be handing out. It looks like $100 going to be going to, if I'm not mistaken, I believe, was that not the 427 of Cameron?
Bruce Cameron.
Yeah.
Bruce Cameron. We'll give these guys a chance to roll off, and we'll give him a shout out and thank our sponsor for the whole shot, of course. And then I've also got one up here. Bruce? Are you Bruce? Oh, you're Cameron Bruce. Well, they got you as Bruce, Cameron. You want to come on up? All right. Sneaking up. And if Adam McGill, if he's out there and feeling up for it, we got a whole shot award for him as well. At the very least, I'll give Adam a shout out. Here, brother, this is yours. That giant check right there. The $100 whole shot award from All Balls Racing. So, man, I had your name flip-flop. They got you as Bruce, Cameron. It's Cameron Bruce. That sounds a little better. So, man, talk to us. Great start for you, and tell us about the race action today.
Man, I tell you what, that B&R machine puts me up front every week, and I've gotten actually a dead last gate pick all 3 rounds this year, and I've pulled 2 whole shots so far, so it's going pretty good. Today, though, second lap, I ran into a little bit of issues with some suspension and put me back a little bit, but determined to get it all figured out, and we'll be running up front here next round.
Well, great work, man. You're $100 richer thanks to All Balls Racing. Any sponsors you want to thank out there?
Oh, of course. B&R Motorsports, HMF, GBC, All Balls Racing, and everyone else who I'm not going to remember at the time. But, you know, they all work out.
All right, there you go, race fans. Give it up for Cameron Bruce. Thank you, brother. And then also, I think I'll just give a quick shout-out here. The Wiseco $250 whole shot award. That was Adam McGill. So big thanks to Wiseco for the $250 whole shot. I'll pose it. There you go. There you go. You want to hand this to Adam? I'll let you. Oh, you want to keep it? I'll trade you the $250 for the puppy. I'm kidding.
All right, guys, we're going to jump in here and just say thanks to everybody for watching along there at RacerTV.com in your homes, and we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Today's coverage brought to you in part by AMSOIL, Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com, and, of course, our friends at Maxxis, where you can find maximum potential. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV.com, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day, everybody.
All right, race fans, now we're going to turn our attention here to our top 3 amateurs. And I believe we'll